Yo, you should have went live then, man.
I should have. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. I can tell this show's gonna be good because we're laughing, we're having a good time. Let me do some introductions. I'll introduce my friend Mooch here. Mooch, what are you playing?
Buddy, what am I playing? What am I not playing? It's a great night, though, buddy. Good to have everybody here. Got a chance to hang out with Jay before the show, too, so it's going to be a great show tonight. I can already tell you guys that. But before we get into that, I don't know, I'm playing a little bit of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and I'm still, dude, I got news for you. It's a 65-hour game. I'm playing Days Gone. I can't put it down.
Yeah, I watched like 2 hours of your stream the other day.
Great.
Yeah.
What up, guys?
Fantastic. Oh, there he is, Predator. We're already live.
That's an entrance, Pred.
Yes, that hell of an entrance.
I started live early.
Yeah, no, well, I mean it's 8 after, so I figure we better go.
They started on time.
Exactly. Exactly. So actually, you know what? Thankfully enough, man, I mooched a copy of Rage 2. And yeah, I'm about to start that up because I beat Crash Nitro, and I'm just about ready to beat the Team Sonic game. And now I wanted, you know me, for some reason I've been wanting to play Rage 2. I heard the gunplay was really fun and stuff like that. And even though it was open world, it wasn't like so open world.
I'm hearing it's
annoying.
A great game, but at the same time, I hear when you get about like maybe, I don't know if it's 10, 12, 15 hours into it, you kind of it just gets repetitive. But I don't know. That could be every game, right?
If you have an itch for great gunplay, play Metro, brother. Play Metro.
I have Metro. I haven't even booted that damn game up yet. But maybe that's maybe I'll put that up after I finish Rage 2 because I definitely, you know, since I mooched it, I don't want to screw somebody over because I've been having a hankering to play Rage, so I want to play it, you know. So I'm gonna play that. We got Xbot 437 360.
No, guys,
728. What's going on, man?
Yeah, or as Yobi says, Xbot 4K. Now
you are Xbot 4K. No more damage controlling about super sampling. I love it,
dude. It wasn't damage controlling. I actually yo guys, what's going on? What's up, chat? Yo,
what are you playing, bot?
Let's see. Of course, Destiny 2. There's another exotic weapon out. Gotta get that bad juju. But I started playing Splinter Cell Pandora tomorrow. I actually got a physical disc. I got the disc for $4 at Game Exchange, and I put it in. Guys, I have been I've been craving a true kind of like stealth game, you know, built from the ground up for like sneaking around and stuff like that. Splinter Cell Pandora tomorrow definitely scratches that itch for me, man. I just wish they would make a newer game that was built from the ground up with stealth in mind. Is that too much to ask?
It's not too much to ask, damn it. It's not.
Damn it. Get it done, people.
We'll have to get that done. We got Predator. He came in late. He was busting, kicking shit down. What's up, Pred? How's it going?
Boom, boom. I want to say boom, boom, kaboom, but that's not my
boom, boom, kaboom, boom, boom, kaboom.
What's going on, guys? I didn't get the pre-show, so I don't know what's going on. It's raining here in Texas. There's tornadoes and shit, and a hurricane coming. So
be careful, man. Be careful.
Got too much shit going on here.
Yeah.
So
what you've been playing anything?
Madden.
Madden? Oh, I mean, hey,
I promise I play some games this week because I'm off of work for 2 weeks, and I honestly have just been spending time with my daughter. So
hey, that
haven't done shit, there. Man.
Yeah, can't go wrong there.
Dude, yo, crap.
Been playing some NCAA Madden.
Oh no, yo, crap. Before we continue, the chat just reminded me, yo, crap.
Yeah.
What day is it, crap?
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day.
It is. I love Hump Day. Make sure you guys like the video, share it out to all your various social platforming spaces and things like that. As you guys know, I did a big face reveal today. Mooch was like messaging me. He goes, "Here was me looking for the face reveal," because I rendered the video and I took a picture and it was like a really quick one, and I thought it was going to be a bigger picture, but it's just this little picture and it was dark. So you can't see anything around me, just this little picture kind of blended in.
You guys know that GIF where you got Ace Ventura like looking like I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what?
Where's his face at? Hey, I got a camera and stuff, man. There's some changes coming. I'm in the middle of like editing like my first videos like that. So those ones aren't going to be every day, but I wanted to kind of change things up a little bit for myself. So you guys will be seeing those type of changes and stuff. So thank you guys for bearing with me with that. We also got Knox, who's a little bit under the weather. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm chilling, bro. You know, yeah, man, I'm sick here, bro. But oh man, it's gonna be a good show, man. Like I said, man, Twitter was lit up. You know what I'm saying? With our special guests here. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good.
I'm excited, man. And last but not least, man, making his debut here. Really good guy. Hey, we got Mr. Rage too. He says, "I'm a simple man. I don't see shady. I donate."
Wow.
The second week in a row that he's done that. We got Jay Kratos here. What's up, Jay, man? It's nice to do a podcast with you. I've done a couple on Zaire's channel. How you doing, man? What are you playing right now?
Boy, what's going on, everybody?
Hey.
Yeah, man. I'm playing everybody's golf. I'm wrapping up Days Gone. At least I think I'm wrapping it up. I think I'm at the end, but the game is so damn long, man. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I got left.
It is long. I was watching Mooch play it. He goes, I think I'm about halfway. I'm a little bit more than halfway done.
I'm about 25, 30 hours in, and I was told by a couple people that have beaten it that I've got about easy 10 hours left. So I don't know.
Yeah, you were about at like the 55% mark because you do a lot of.
I've done every side quest because I've got a couple of people that they platinum the game in the audience that were watching the stream, and they're like, Mooch, I'm telling you right now, you've done everything on the top of the map. Now you got to attack that bottom part. So the game really opens up, and I'm biased. I love zombie games. I don't care what it is. I love them. And this game's got every element working for it. So, and it's $39 right now. It's a steal.
And I'm happy that people word of mouth kind of spread on this game because I was telling people the original reviews and it sounds like damage control, but it's not when you look into it.
Yeah.
This game got sent out to reviewers earlier than it was supposed to without the day one patch came out. So people that were playing it and reviewers that were playing it played it a broken version of the game. The day one patch fixed a lot of the stuff. They updated it like every day since then. They did a ton of updates, really, really well put together. I'm glad that people bought it, and it looks like they're staffing up for a sequel, which sounds like it'll be perfecto.
But you know what, Crap? I'm not gonna use that excuse because when other consoles do that, when they release games that are pre-patched to develop to the public and stuff like that, they can't get that excuse. So I mean, that's Sony's problem. They shouldn't have released the game without the
Agree.
patch.
True.
You gotta have your stuff patched, man. You gotta have it go.
Look, I'm sorry, but we'll give you a review copy.
Yeah, they got lucky.
Yeah.
They got lucky, man.
I know because I was listening to the Sacred Symbols podcast with Colin Moriarty. I know I plugged that podcast a lot. And he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, we got our copy. We were supposed to get it like 2 days before launch. We got it like a week and a half before launch, and we're playing it, and it's kind of broken. And and he's like, I contact Sony, and they're like, yeah, well, there's a patch coming. The copies went out early or whatever, so kind of is what it is. Internally, I heard that they expected an 80 to 85 Metacritic, and it ended up with a 72. But the game is really good now, so if you haven't played it, go ahead and play it because it is a lot of fun. Failed Pyromancer, what's up? He says he says just because we get a break from So Shady. This is back-to-back breaks. He's got some crazy stuff going on or something. So
there's nothing but love for So Shady tonight, man.
He'll be back next week. But like I said, as you guys filter in, please hit the like button, share it out, all that kind of good stuff. To be much appreciated. I want to jump into a little bit of the topics. Supposedly, and I saw this number kind of going around, and I guess maybe this leaked or whatever. The Xbox One is only at 1.5 million consoles sold this year. 1.5 million. This is the number that's getting like thrown around out there on various sites and things like that, like the Reddits and the NeoGAFs or the Reset Errors or whatever. Supposedly, like Z Huge is a part of this number or whatever as well. So there could be some credibility behind it. So 1.5 million consoles sold year to date for Xbox worldwide, and nearly 6 million for the Switch, and nearly 6 million for the PS4, which is just right behind the Switch. Is this could be a huge problem. Like, I'm wondering, is this a problem long term? Because Microsoft, everybody that I talk to just thinks that, play what they're doing with xCloud and all this stuff is going to really help sell more Xboxes. And even when they announced Play Anywhere and some of these things that they were doing, I was like, they're like, man, this is going to set sales on fire. Yeah. And I was like, how the hell is you putting your games everywhere going to set Xbox sales on fire, right? Yeah. So nobody, it's just one of those things where people just don't seem to correlate that Xbox doesn't look like a must-have piece of hardware anymore, and it's really starting to fall behind. We've heard that like they're selling so poorly, like that there might have been a month or two this year under 100,000 sold. So that would be incredibly low, especially since the X just came out and it's still the most powerful console and the best way to play and all that kind of great stuff. But it doesn't look like it's good enough for people to want to jump in and buy one. I mean, even though there are deals, and we're going to get into that right now, there's like all kinds of deals on the X. But it does seem like a legit problem. Who wants to chime in on this? I know Mooch and Jay, you guys are probably chomping in the bit. Jay, what do you think, man? What do you think is the reason behind this, and can Microsoft fix it?
Well, you got to realize, man, they got about 5-6 consoles out right now. And,
True.
I mean, I mean, think about it. You got the OG Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the SAT edition, the X, and the Mini supposedly coming. I mean, then we got the Scarlet. At this point in time, I think a lot of people are on cruise control. Just going to stick with what they have with the X, the S, the OG Xbox, or whatever they have. And maybe 1 or 2 people bought the SAT edition, and they're just going to wait for the Scarlet. That's a lot of hardware that's out there, and you got to realize, have they really incentivize you for going out to buy more hardware? So the people who've been sitting on the fence, you have to deliver the games for them to go out and get it. But now with Xbox, having games, supposedly on the fence of going any and everywhere, a lot of people just sit on the sideline. They're just saying, look, we'll wait. We have other alternatives, right? We got xCloud coming. You got Google Stadia coming. You got now, the Switch is pretty much, here, and then you got the PlayStation with their exclusives and games and stuff. So you have to give the people an incentive to go and buy that hardware.
Right. And the difference between this generation and others is this is not a stopgap situation. Yes. So every device and every console that Jay just mentioned is moving forward, at least for the time being. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in their defense, let's also say this: Sony's numbers, Microsoft's numbers, probably not Nintendo's for some reason. Theirs are going up, but this is the end of a generation. A lot of people are out there. A lot of people that are going to buy consoles are waiting for Black Friday or Christmas holidays, right? It's like that kind of sale. But at the same point, I got to say that when it comes down to it, it really is that latter part of what Jay was saying that I got to kind of embellish on and that's why you're seeing a lot of Xbox fans say this is I went and built a rig this year. Others I know are either building it in as we speak or going to, because Microsoft, this is not us saying this. This was Microsoft telling you this. Yeah. They're telling you wherever you play the game, we're happy. And I truly believe that's what they mean. But when it comes down to needing the console anymore, that's becoming, it seems, less and less relevant. Now, it's up for them next E3, and no one likes to hear that. It's up for them next E3, because they didn't do it this E3, to show me why I'd want to go and buy a Scarlet. Right? So that's on them. But as far as the 1.5 million crap, I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's probably not too far off. But I think right now we are literally at the end. We're winding down this generation. We all know that. We've said that for months. So I think the numbers will start to trickle down. That's normal. That happens at the end of every generation.
I mean, that necessarily is not a trickle. And I'm not going to come out here and be like, hey, guys, this is what I do. I just watch businesses and what's going on, because that's not me. I'm a gamer at heart, all right? But I think part of it is what Mooch said in terms of it being the end of a generation. If you look at what Xbox is doing, they are bolstering up one of their main features to move in to the next series of hardware with Scarlet, and that's Game Pass. Not only that, I know a lot of people talk about how Xbox, putting games on PC and all this good stuff, could be veering people away from like consoles and just building rigs. But what if it, because Microsoft has a close relationship with AMD, they saw what was coming down the pipeline. They knew that building rigs would be cheaper. And it's like, instead of battling that PC front, which is open platform, we're just going to expand our platform out to include PC, because it is incredibly, when it comes to pricing now, with what AMD has done with the CPU and GPU and how inexpensive they are in comparison to their rivals, it's actually, building a rig is not that wallet eater that it used to be either.
But how are you going to? But how is Microsoft going to expand to the PC when they don't control the store? That right now they're touting Steam. They're putting their games on Steam.
They're still making the revenue off the software on an open platform.
We can't,
still goes back
can't
to
play the
developers.
game. We can't play the money though. But
exactly.
No, I mean, they're already the world's richest company. I mean,
I was right in the middle of saying it though.
Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead. My bad.
All right, they sell the software. All right, both on console and on the open platform.
Okay,
so
okay. What can you specify? What software?
Games.
What games?
What I mean, any list of games that are under Xbox's first party.
Okay.
Not only that, they do have Game Pass now on PC as well, so they'll be getting a subscription, a monthly revenue coming back from that, and that money is all going back in. Of course, a lot of it's going back to the developers to make more games. We know that they have more studios that they acquired. That they're going to be coming out with more first-party titles. It just seems to all kind of run in a big circle here. And instead of competing with the PC platform, that open platform or whatever, they're like, you know what? We're going to throw our games on there as well, collect the revenue, and make even more games that will also go to console.
Well, there's no doubt, Xbox, that no one on the panel, I think, is going to argue with you that the Xbox is making a financial move that may be successful. Yeah. That's not the argument here. I think the argument right now,
back like a couple years back, man.
Well, a lot of people say they saw it coming because they couldn't compete in the console space.
Facts.
So that's why they made that move. That's a debate that some people want to have. Right?
That's the only reason.
It may very well be. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, Crap's been pushing this for weeks now. Is what I wanted to see was them go out and acquire. Like, I'll give you an example. There's rumors right now that Sony's looking to acquire studios the same way Microsoft did. But Sony's going to lock those studios down and make it so that you want to play those games, you got to play it on their console. Right? And don't get me wrong. I do think with 6 months, 12 months out, they may put it on their streaming service in the future. But hear me out. I've said this for a long time. Why wouldn't Microsoft, if I was at the head table and they were sitting there and said, listen, I want to put all of our first-party games in Game Pass day and date. And everybody's like, yeah. I would have been like, hold it. Can I get the floor for a minute? Why don't we do this? We have the PC space. We know that. We have a dedicated console right now with dedicated fans. We know that. What's the harm right now, since we've never put Halo, Gears, or Forza on PC? Why don't we do this? Put our first-party games on Game Pass or on PC 6 months after it launches on the console, giving the console a reason to exist. And that's something I thought they would have done. And I think that when you see Sony follow suit, Sony will do it, but they will do it like that. They'll wait 3, 6, 12 months before it goes on their streaming.
Let me pay a bill real quick. Jay Blaze says if there was a Gears 5 custom console, I would buy one. But Microsoft, I don't think, is living that custom console life.
That's exactly where I was about to go with this, about the sales of the consoles. Like we all know the metric is money. That's what I've been saying anyway for like over a year or so.
Dude, you drilled it into my head, Predator. It is there. I am thinking about it.
However, they still have a console base they still have to abide by and support. Exactly. And like we're not getting that support from the console side. Like, we haven't gotten any custom consoles, like that's why they're not selling like consoles, because they're pushing out one.
It's almost like the consoles became like the regular stepchild. It's on the back burner, and they're focusing on everything else.
And that's the thing. I'm glad they're focusing on buying studios and stuff like that, but like they still have to sell a console, and that I've said this before on this podcast, maybe Mooch's, and I definitely have said it on next podcast. Like, I could see them just pulling out of the fucking console race and just going straight fucking just services.
Phil already said Microsoft is the largest third-party publisher out there, so he directly looks at it as being a third.
That is ultimately the direction they want to go in. I mean,
and I want to point something out about this panel too right now. Like myself, Mooch, Knox, Predator. I know Jay he plays Xbox. I played State of Decay 2. It was a riot because we were glitching out while we're playing it. So everybody here has played Xbox. My history is clear. We're Xbox. We like Xbox. You don't want them to fail. This is coming from a frustrated point. This is what real fans sound like that are disappointed with what's happening. You see more and more of this happening every single day.
I am what a real fan sounds like, who is not disappointed.
I understand. Hey, I totally respect it. Not everybody is going to care. Like a lot of people will bring up Microsoft. Well, they're still making money or doing this. I think though there might come that breaking point for everybody. Though it could be Halo for you, Xbox.
Dude, I don't care if they're making money. The only reason why I bring up the whole money thing is that it goes back to the development studios, therefore they can make more games.
They're not making anything with that. They're not doing anything with said money.
How do you know that?
Listen, dude, because the proof is in the pudding.
Dude, so they bought how many studios to have them sit down in the courtyard and talk to Phil?
If it's not Gears, Forza, and Halo, if it's not Gears, Forza, and Halo, they're not putting. They haven't shown me anything that they're putting any quality into, my dude.
What's bleeding edge?
That's an unproven
dumpster diving
franchise.
game. That's a game that Phil Spencer put on a trash.
I hear a lot of opinions in here.
Dumped into the dumpster and saw them making that, and he's like,
Yeah,
okay,
I hear a lot of
I haven't played that game, so I can't judge that game. It doesn't look like a genre that I'm going to be into.
It might be fun for like 2 months.
All right, so
I can't critique it yet.
If it's a
but
if
I have to go with the pedigree and the reputation, I'm going to say it's going to be leading to mediocrity to ass.
If we went with pedigree and reputation, when we came down to it, nobody would be playing on the PlayStation right now because they'd be afraid to go online with it. Let's be if we were talking about
you grasping at straws, my dude.
I'm saying if that's what we're talking about.
I'm talking about the pedigree. I'm talking about the pedigree of the games that they've been putting out. The console's reputation right now, first party wise, haven't put out quality first party,
and that can't change at all, right? They're just doing
it can, okay. But I'm not going down with the ship. I'm out. And then when you change
I don't care. Whatever you invest in that makes you happy, I'm cool with.
XBot, with that logic, right? With the logic that you used about with Sony and the network and stuff like that, we could have used that same logic with last generation with Xbox 360 and the Red Ring of Death.
Oh yeah, we could have. But so you're proving my point with that is that when it comes to reputation and stuff like that.
You don't find anything wrong, and that's fine, right? You're
Oh, it's not. No, it's not that I don't find anything wrong. I criticized E3, said that they dropped the ball for not showing actual Gears gameplay on the big stage.
But you're still there, though. You're still gonna be. You still there. You Battletoads.
Dude, I'm excited for Battletoads. Hold on, guys. Battletoads.
There you go. But my dude, you can't listen, man.
Oh my God.
They haven't shown me. And the thing is that it's not like they're doing that. The way they're steering, the direction they're steering in, they want to phase out consoles. That's the way I'm feeling right now. They want to phase them out. They want to go straight services, and they want to put that in as many places as possible. And they want to do it, and they want to do it with mediocre games, bro. They don't care to make AAAs no more. At least that's what they're showing me.
Yeah, listen, Phil said with his own, and you got to realize, right? Either we're gonna listen to Phil or we're not. We can't pick and choose what he says and how to interpret it, how he said it. He said he's looking to gobble up in independent and AA studios. He's looking to release 4 games a year. He's looking for them to distribute 4 games a year. So that means they have a constant rotation of games. But he's going for the smaller studios. And
not all of them. Look at what they're doing with like a studio like the Initiative.
Before you say that, we can't sit here and say Phil Spencer said with his own lips, we're looking to buy the AA and indie studios, develop and release 4 games a year in Game Pass. Game Pass is the end game. So, I mean, you can say that they're going to take some of these studios and build them up to AAA or quadruple A, but I just found out the other day that quadruple A meant one studio that has 2 teams. So you put 2 and 2 together, that equals quadruple. That's
Where did you hear that from?
Guys, there is no more.
Take that.
Where did you hear that one from?
But that's the problem. You take that quadruple A, you divide that into 2 teams. That's 4 divided by 2. That's a double A. That's 2 AA teams. So my point being is that this is the issue, though, when it comes down to it, is that where is that quadruple? You just explained it in those terms, Jay. But like, to be honest with you, like, I thought the Initiative was going to be something massive. I thought when you see this, they have amazing talent, by the way. So let's just put that on the table. Yeah. You look at the talent that's working at the Initiative right now, it would floor anybody. That resume is stellar. Absolutely. But I said the crap well over a year ago. I said, well, when they first announced it, I said, this to me would be ideal for them to have another top tier like 343, like Coalition, like Turn 10, come in and make their version. And guys, take this with a grain of salt. I don't mean Destiny, okay? But I mean a Destiny caliber where it doesn't ever end. The game continues to exist year in, year out. This massive team that they're building with this kind of pedigree, that's not really what I think we're going to get from the Initiative. I think the Initiative is going to put out great. Well, here's the thing. You can think and I can think, but at the same, you said I think as well. Here's the point. They didn't show shit at E3. That would have been a great time for us to stop thinking and start looking.
Again,
and
and
watching.
for people,
What is it you're doing?
And for people who think I don't criticize Xbox and Mooch and Crap and everybody else on this panel, you know, when it comes to showing things further than 18 months down the line, I have been one of the people that was on that forefront saying that was a bad idea. They need to take that.
They don't have to show the gameplay.
They're not in a position to do that, right? Microsoft is not in a leading position where they can just feel like, well, we don't have to tell the gamers anything for another 36 months or 48 months.
Exactly. They got to show the goods.
They don't have that
luxury. Something.
People want stuff now.
And I've been saying that, man.
The mere fact that Phil Spencer, right? Because we like to harp on his every words. The mere fact that he said that he's more excited about games that he didn't show than the ones he did, that raised a red flag right there. Yeah. That instead of showing Fable 4, he decided to put Flight Simulator in its place.
Yeah, I was gonna bring
dude, Flight Simulator look hot, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's exclusive to the PC for a period of time.
For how long?
I don't know. They didn't say, but they said it's coming out on PC first.
Holy crap! You know what? It's so that is so bad.
I didn't even peep that.
Like you know what's funny is, like, look at Gears Tactics, right? That still has not been announced for Xbox.
Yep.
Like, that's an exclusive Gears game for PC. You know, a lot of the things that they do doesn't really make sense to me. And here's the thing. I get you. Like, let's just say the Initiative does do something good. That studio was just created last year. I think for a big AAA game, you're looking at least 4 to 5 years to cultivate that, right? Like a new game, 4 to 5 years. So you still have a good, 4 years left before we get anything from them. So we are probably
you're aiming for the 5 years, then, is what you're saying.
Well, okay, well,
Brother, I'm good at marketing.
You can do 2019. It's 2019. Their console drops. Their brand new console, right? They're trying to sell us a $5 to $6, perhaps even a $700 console come next fall, come next November.
And you're looking at them
trying to tell us that on something that they're going to be building, and it's probably going to take 2021, 2022, 2023 before it's finished. We're going to sit here and wait every E3.
So what if it's a short end of the stick, 2021?
Then you're definitely not going to get any AAA.
You're not getting.
You're definitely not going to get. You're going to get that indie game that they bought. You're going to get that AA game.
And if they do pull off a AAA, that'll be impressive. Real quick, just because I wanted to go back to what Kratos said earlier, right? He was saying that Xbox isn't in the position, right? It doesn't have the luxury to be making those decisions of not showing stuff that's a little ways out, right? But financially, and I hate to bring it up, the fans keep telling us, the consumer, keep telling them otherwise. That's why they keep doing what they do. That's why you can't have that blind support, bro, unless you want them to continue with this. If this is what you want, then go ahead, man, support them all day. I can't do it, bro. I can't continue to do it. And I'm an Xbox guy. When I get off this show, I'm going to be playing some Destiny 2, farming for my bad juju.
I get that juju, baby.
On my Xbox. But come September, I can bring my account over. I'm going to be on my pro. I'm not even lying.
Yeah.
I'm dead ass.
Look, go ahead.
In order to get Xbox back on the track that I believe all of us on the panel wanted, right? In 2013, when we started out, we thought we were going to get a continuation of the 360, but on a different level. It's going to be on a bigger grand scale. The game that sold me on Xbox 360 was Gears of War. When we saw the commercial, the big creature, 10-foot story creature came out. That was something I never saw before, so I was sold day one on the Xbox 360. This generation, they failed. Yes, they flubbed, but you can always correct that. But by almost giving up on your hardware and focusing on other stuff that really doesn't drag the gamers in, like the services and the cloud and all that stuff, that really doesn't fix the problem, which is the games. You got to show us something that drags us in, and I just don't think they've did
Brother,
that.
That's the other problem.
Real quick,
you know what's funny though, Jay? You said you got hooked on the Gears commercial. Yeah. I wanted to say, what's a commercial? Because Xbox has no idea on their marketing. That's the biggest problem.
That's another thing I've criticized them.
We haven't seen Gears 5 commercial, and they get dropped in a month and a half.
Speaking of marketing, why don't we market this channel? It was 81 likes, and it's only
hit the like button, guys. Share it out. There's over 500 watching, man. Let's get some likes up in here. Let's see if we can't get 150. I see the chat's being kind of well behaved. There's always going to be a little bit of hate out there.
Pretty good.
They're being pretty well behaved. But we can transition into Gears 5. My favorite franchise on Xbox They Rod Ferguson confirmed 4 motion captured cutscenes. I guess the rest could be CGI unless they're only doing 4 chapters and they only
the
did.
bills, brother. Pay the bills.
Hold on, let me see. Oh, Jay Blaze says Battletoads will be great. I'm excited for it. Y'all hating.
Combat Frogs.
Hey, listen, it could be
Frogs.
fine. It could be fine, but it's a it's like a $20 game. You know, it's like
Battletoads more than likely going to end up on the Switch anyway.
hey, that's a good point.
Hey, I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
And that would make a great Game Pass filler, right?
See, like I'm not sure because I wasn't on YouTube and I wasn't a part of Twitter like during the 360 era. All right, my favorite game during the 360 era was Castlevania.
Nobody was. I don't think
Castlevania Lords of Shadow, right? But then one of my most played games, and you guys are probably going to laugh at me, but one of my most played games, I have no qualms saying, was Fancy Pants Adventures.
You're right. We are going to laugh at you.
Little stick figure game that I could not get enough of playing. I like everything from the bigger titles down to the smaller titles. I get hyped for games that I want to play, regardless of how many A's are before it. All right? I don't care about that. I am a gamer at the end of the day. If I'm interested in a game, I'm going to let you know if I'm interested in it, no matter what kind of game it is.
Well, but the thing is, though, don't you want to have major AAA games and then sprinkle in those games you're talking about? Like right now,
I play them all.
Xbox, when you do a show, you're kind of thinking for the masses, right? It's not this, you can't
that's
just
why I try to
drive.
tell you guys all that, all throughout the whole show, and you're like, I think, and I think.
Yeah, but the thing about it, though,
I don't want, and
it's $100 million to $50 million, dude. Right?
It's not even 50 million.
I'm giving him 50. I'm giving him 50.
Looking at anywhere between 36 to 42 maybe.
So it's not me. What I'm trying to say to you is that Xbot, I'm with you. There is a lot of great games that are smaller titles, but you have to sprinkle those games in. Like right now, you've got people on the PlayStation that are writing me and they're saying, Mooch, you got to check out this game Judgment. Right? And I'm not even a Yakuza fan or any of that stuff. They're like, yeah, even if you're not a Yakuza fan, they took this game in a different direction. You'll like it. That's not a game you see Sony putting on billboards and subways and advertising. Right? It's not TV, but it's sprinkled in. And that's a game that somebody might go, on the PS4, this was a game I really dug. This is a game I got into. People might not have heard of it. Like that stick game you're talking about on 360. My point being is there's a game out there for everybody, no doubt. And you enjoy what you enjoy. But you've got to have your AAA standards. Those peak games, then you sprinkle in the ones in
the chat.
Small games on the pedestal.
Hold on, Sin Vendetta. Hold on, let me pay this bill real quick. He says the time to show us that Xbox mean business with new IP is going to be the Scarlet reveal. They have to show their hand then. No more waiting.
Well, they have to show the launch title.
Let me ask you guys this though. So they wait. Look, you know what? Look what people like me, content creators, and all the content creators did, hyping up the Xbox One X from Microsoft. We all hyped it up. They gave it out to content creators, and people are really hyped on it because we had that year to really do that. Microsoft did such a piss poor job, basically repeating the video, it eats monsters for breakfast, right? Like this whole cheesy thing. And they didn't show off any games. Like the Halo bit that they showed did not look impressive. And so that's our first look at quote unquote next generation. It would have behooved them having this year with no Sony to go, we're making Scarlet. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And you're going to be able to take all your stuff with you, blah, blah, blah. And the next 5 games we're going to show you are Scarlet, are running on the hardware, right? Show Halo, show a Fable, you know what I'm saying? Show some of these games and you get a whole year by yourself of just people talking Xbox, right? Like you can't buy that type of publicity. Sony's doesn't now. Sony, they're sitting back smoking cigars, going freaking Microsoft.
I will let you know, Halo is gonna look absolutely incredible.
I'm sure it will, but what we saw wasn't just like Gears. That might be great, but what we saw wasn't great.
From a technical standpoint,
it did not look
good.
I didn't say it looked good, right?
It did.
But that did not look like something that couldn't just run on my S or my X.
Correct.
How do you sell me on a next generation console when the graphics? Take Death Stranding, Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, all of those big Sony games. And most people when they originally showed them, they said this has to be next generation or that has to be CGI. We have yet to have that type of experience on the Xbox, on the world's most powerful console. So they're going to sell us another world's most powerful console without showing us why we're buying it.
Hey, Jay, that was one of my tipping points. Like one of the ones that pissed me off was I said Phil's gonna get up there and have the audacity to try to sell me another new piece of hardware and not show me any new IP. So think about this. Since 2000, and I always say this and people get tired of it. Since 2015, we've not had a new AAA exclusive announced. No new AAA exclusive announced. But since 2016, we've had 3 pieces of hardware announced. 3 pieces of hardware, no new AAA IP. Yeah, and 50 million controllers. And don't get me wrong, I like the Elite controllers. Those are great. But those are all more like accessories, like, you know, a phone accessory or something more than, you know, or you know, like, and I get that
I'm picking up $180 phone accessory.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. Look, you're gonna get to take it with you, but I think Phil gets it. He just refuses to talk because he's had a bad experience or two with canceling games. But why go with these studios if you don't believe in them at all, right? Like, that's my main question. If you don't believe in your studios, then why did you buy those studios?
Yeah. Well,
right?
You think about it. Look what they did with Kojima, right? They brought him in. They took him to all of their, you know, studios, and they said, "Look, you can have whatever you want. Here's a bag of money. Go make your studio. Go do something. Go make a game, and just let us know when it's going to launch." And within 3 years, they got Death Stranding. Now, you can say what you want about the game, how it looks, how it plays, or whatever, you know, but Kojima was able to make a big blockbuster AAA game that they're going to advertise as AAA, and it's going to be AAA due to the history that he has with his game. So the history that he has with games, his track record is really good.
I'm confident.
In 3 years, he was able to make that. So I just don't understand why Microsoft, the world's richest company, and you know, I just don't understand how they haven't been able to grasp that concept.
Yeah. Hey, Bone Slave says it takes years to make AAA games. We won't see the fruits of the new studios at Microsoft for a while. License exclusives until then, I guess. They won't even do license exclusive. This is what I said.
That would have been
That's
fine.
the whole point. That's the whole point. We wouldn't even be having this discussion if they wouldn't have abandoned. If Phil Spencer wouldn't have got up there and tell me, hey, keeping games out of the hands of gamers, I'm against that. Unless they're Xbox gamers, then I'll keep shit out of your hands. So no second party exclusives, no exclusive content, and I gotta wait for you to build your first party. Get the fuck, man. Listen.
Hey, Star Child says Halo Infinite was a graphical breakthrough. Wasn't a graphical breakthrough. Why? Because they showed some cutscene and it just did not look great.
And not only that crap, that your man got up there and said they had to use a supercomputer in order to put this footage up there for us.
What you don't like, what you don't like there,
it didn't even look next.
What I'm saying is that yes, he said he made it sound like the X couldn't handle it, and I do from what I saw, and I don't care about no technical. I don't want to hear that because it's got to run.
To hear it though.
It's got to run on the X.
Now was a technical masterpiece or Marvel. Remember?
Isan Rashid says, "Will Kratos actually sign Mooch to a contract?" Look, true story. Me and Mooch in DMs were like, "Hey, Control looks kind of good."
Kratos, you're the contract.
Hey, wait. I'm gonna wrap Mooch out here now. He told me not to tell anybody, but he's already signed the contract. He just said no broadcast.
Hey,
I'm sorry,
get out of here,
man.
man.
I'm sorry.
These guys know I'm 100% Italian. Italians don't sign no contract.
Wait, who's that?
Whoa,
Foxy. Wow, Foxy.
Hey, sneaking in.
She came in the back door.
Yep, I had to sneak in. Kratos got my seat.
What's
What's up, Kratos?
going on?
Hey, but no, me and Mooch were talking, and we were both like, "Hey, Control actually looks kind of good." And he's like, "They got some exclusive content on the PS4," and I was like, "I know," and I was like, "I think we might actually get that game on PS4."
We made this comment a while back when we were talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
when before they realized it was just going to be like a 10-gallon hat and a scarf you got on Sony, but right before that broke, if they were saying if there was any story mission stuff, I said, "Now wait a minute, this is how you got to prove the point." To Phil and all them is that like we want to have content too. So if Sony's gonna go out and sign and get content, it doesn't matter if it's a mission or not. Listen, I'm a Destiny fan, right? And I'm not gonna lie, it was harder with the first Destiny than the second one. But those missions that the Sony fans got, that the Xbox fans didn't get,
the strikes.
That just didn't feel right?
Hell yeah.
And
they had Hawk Moon, bro. They had Hawk Moon for a whole
the
year.
Sony fans in the 360 era were kind of a little salty about the whole 30-day map packs on COD. Imagine a year.
Yeah.
Come on now. So like Sony went out and did that because they had to do that. Phil's got to understand that even though he made that comment, and don't get me wrong, sometimes when you're running for office, that shit sounds good on paper, but not in real life. So when you say I don't want to take content away from gamers, that sounds really great. Till you look across the aisle and you see your competitors taking it away from you, right?
So, I think it depends on the game. Like if it's for control and it's a story single player thing, then sure, PlayStation would have your card on that one. But when it comes to Destiny, because multiplayer, you're gonna go where your friends are, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to admit something, right? So because of these marketing deals with this generation, Sony has just been gobbling them up. So all the additional content that comes out, when PlayStation gets it 30 days early or 60 days early or something like that, I go out of my way to stream that shit so my Xbox friends can kind of
wow, troll.
Hey, look what I'm playing over here. Look what I'm playing. Come on.
Look what I got. You don't got this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen. I mean, that's the way it goes, though. Like you kind of look at it, and it's like, to me, just it's been a long, kind of crappy generation. Now, Foxy, I know you're excited about Gears, but what do you think about them like not advertising it or actually showing anything of the campaign, despite the fact that they're like, oh, we changed so much about it. Let us tell you about it the day it releases.
Yeah, I think it's really weird the way that they're approaching to this, but like I'm a Gears head, so it doesn't matter to me. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna pick it up. I still can't wait to play it. I'm still hyped. I'm digging here and there just to get some information, but overall, yeah, this sucks that they're not advertising it. They're not showing it off. They're not like bragging about it. So I don't know what's up with Microsoft on that front.
Yeah. I mean, look, the game, I think the multiplayer is going to be great. Like, as always, it is a little bit suspect. Last time for Gears 4, they gave us, 8 months, 9 months before the game released to show
it. Yeah, April. They were showing off the beta. They were, like, on Game Informer, showing off the character models.
But Foxy said she's digging here, digging there.
Yeah.
Why are you digging when you're buying?
Exactly. Well, because they're not showing anything.
Yeah, I want to know what's coming up. I want to know the new guns, the new characters.
When I go to one of my favorite,
showed gameplay, she was still going to be digging for more.
When I go to one of my favorite, favorite steakhouses in New York, do you know what they tell me when I sit down? They tell me how great the steak is. I know that, but they're telling me again, right? So why is it I gotta dig? You know what I mean? I don't understand. And the first thing I said to Crap when we did the live reactions at E3, I said when they were done with Gears, I'm like, that's it. Like, where's the campaign?
Oh, yeah, I wanted more.
Listen, there's no doubt that Rod, I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. Rod is talented, okay? He is a talented man. He knows what he's doing. He loves Gears. He loves Gears more than anybody else. So that you got to put to the forefront. I'm not doubting that. But what I think is happening here is I'm thinking that just the way that Gears 4 was critiqued, the only critique I can think of off the top of my head is they don't want to hear that Gears 5 is also played too safe. I think it's just too safe again. I think they're going to have a little bit of that venture out where you're on that skiff and you can kind of go left or right, but it's still going to be very, very, very straight and narrow. I still think they're going to follow the old formula.
This. I don't know if I agree with you. I'm going to wait for the next day the game comes out when people are bitching about how it's too different. This is not Gears. It's not my Gears. I can't wait. It's going to happen, I'm telling you.
Fox, but Fox, that's like saying you're going to wait till the answer is revealed after the test is over. That ain't fair to say. I mean, here we are. We're having a discussion on it.
You can do it, Fox.
It's going to be early access. Watch. It's going to be early access. People
Everybody's
bitching,
in early
and I don't give a fuck. I'm still going to enjoy that shit.
Everybody has early access. We all bought it for $1.
Yep.
Game Pass, baby. Game Pass.
That's a great point, Mooch. That's a great point.
I did give Gears 4 a great score, by the way, Miggy. The problem that I had with it is like sometimes you play a game and you're very excited. I think I did this to Quantum Break too, right? I play it and I'm like, man, this is really good. But then as you look back on it as the years have come, like you realize that maybe it wasn't as good, or you go back and it doesn't hold up as well.
Oh my goodness.
Like listen, I think Gears 4 is solid. The problem, here's the problems that I have with Gears 4, and this is just objectively, okay? First of all, the DB bots. Those things are so stupid. Second, the characters just aren't that. They're kind of boring. Like they don't grab me the way that.
The first thing you point out is the thing that's different. Yeah, they played it too safe.
Yeah, I mean they were kind of boring. The third thing that I didn't like about the campaign was the tower defense parts just to kill time in the campaign. Yeah. Like, why the hell am I setting up tower defense horde mode for a campaign? Like that was kind of cheesy. And then the last thing I didn't like, but they did fix it for the new one, is the Gears packs. Like, it made it almost impossible to get the characters you wanted. Like, just give me something. Like, let me buy a character.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
It was like,
I agree with you in the last two for sure. For sure.
Yeah, it was like that. Those are the things that I dislike.
Yeah.
Well, now, did those ruin the game for me? No. But, overall, it's probably an 8.5 or something. And it got an 84 Metacritic. So, like, it's like, I hope that this one does good. And I hope that it's great because Microsoft needs that. If you look at their last games that have gone in Game Pass, if this one tanks, and I don't mean get a 65, there's no freaking way this will get a 65.
No.
But if it gets below a 80 somehow, you might see some major changes with this franchise, like maybe a reboot or something.
Crap,
Because
I gotta ask you something, Crap, and and this goes to Mooch as well.
okay,
You guys know I have been on shows with you guys for a long time. At one point in time, it was Metacritic doesn't matter. And now, lately, the past few weeks, all I've been hearing is 65 or 79.
I don't. First of all, I'd like to retract that. I don't ever mention
we
numbers.
could go back.
You can go back as far as you want. I don't bring back Metacritic
Mooch
at all.
Mooch doesn't talk about
never bring
Metacritic.
Metacritic.
Here's why I talk about Metacritic, right? Because Metacritic, if you have overwhelming, like the way some of these Zeldas or God of War or Red Dead, if you have overwhelming 90 plus, that's going to be a damn good game. You know what I mean? I think, and that's going to mean that it's a mark of quality. Like, there's no way around it.
Keep in mind too, it's not just for us, right? A lot of these developers, they get incentives and bonuses based on a Metacritic. There was that one developer or one game that I think it barely missed a 85 or a 90 or something like that, and it got like an 89, and they didn't get a bonus. They were supposed to get a huge bonus if it did that, and that would guarantee a 6.
Well, damn, that's absolute bullshit because I remember throughout this generation, certain games got a lower score on Xbox because they didn't have as much blades of grass or they didn't have.
But wait, you can't pull that up because it was the same thing with the Spider-Man water puddles. It was the same thing with the jump button. It's across the aisle, so that cancels out, bro.
Look, the thing is, we don't necessarily. I don't really care. I don't pay attention to none of them scores.
But the P's, man, that was like half of this whole generation, dude.
But people out there do. People do gauge their purchase based on those scores. So that's why these companies take.
They don't have to do that. They just have to listen to Xbox 448. That's it. And we'll be
the reason I think Meta is losing, I've said this for a long time, I'll say it again. The reason Meta is losing a little bit of its mustard is because of just that. Not just that, but Meta used to be like the Consumer Reports back in the day, okay? Yeah. We had nowhere to go but IGN and Meta. Now you've got a million people a lot of people tune into different people on YouTube, okay? Some of them big YouTubers, some of them smaller YouTubers. And they go to them because they trust them because they have the same play styles. And that's respected. Give them respect for that. Right. That's where people go for true opinions these days. That being said, look at other things where Meta failed, right? We just said it earlier in the show. Days Gone got a 72, and it was number 2 or 1 respectively back to back in the UK for May and June. It doesn't really matter about Meta. That doesn't really hold weight anymore like it used to. Now, don't get me wrong. When Meta comes out and gives it a 5 or a 5.5, generally that's all. I think we'd all very few people gave a 5.5 rating like a 10 somewhere else, right? Yeah. But realistically, I think the Meta, I've been saying this for a long time, stop with the Meta stuff. We can use it as a talking point to a certain degree, but then after that, it really does become more in the eye of the beholder, and it's not so much this, this nonsense with Meta. Yeah,
it's not the end all be all.
No,
it's not. But again, when you have these developers that are basing their bonuses and stuff on it, I think that gives them something to shoot for.
That needs to stop because, like I said, you've seen time and time again. You have to have an extra 180p's during half of this generation.
Well,
to get
dude,
a higher score.
Look,
if you lost out on a bonus over 180p's on your game, dude, I would flip out.
Listen,
it wasn't just the P.
That was the main area.
You had the resolution, you had the camera, you had the price, you had the mediocre games. I mean, come on, it was more than that.
Mediocre games. See, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Listen. The Xbox in the beginning of the generation, those games were better than Sony games. I'll admit that, right? In the beginning, they were, but those games did not knock it out the park. Because think about it. Even Xbox guys did not buy those games. Therefore, we got no sequels.
But see, that was my main complaint within the community as well. How could you get absorbed into a narrative of, like I said, 180p's and say, well, that game's trash? If that's the case, you're missing out on an incredible experience as a gamer.
Xbox, you can't charge people an extra $100, give them less performance.
That's what did it.
You can't have all of these things and then just expect the guys to go out and buy the mediocre games.
The piece thing would never have even been an issue had they matched Sony's price point.
Thank you.
It would have never been a discussion if they would have sold at the same price. People from 360 would have jumped right over. The loyalists did, the diehards like us, we did. And I really,
dude, I left my
I was
job
happy with my Xbox.
I
got my Rise.
Like,
and
you guys got to understand something, and we're all playing Monday morning quarterback here, and I agree to a certain extent, but sports. But at the same point, I got to agree with you guys, and I also disagree. You're right about the $100 value, but let's not forget, Digital Foundry built their empire on the difference between 180p's. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, that it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have
found a way to
mattered,
zoom in 400%, and once they zoom in 400%, they made the money.
Yeah, we're really playing like that, right?
Hey,
That's how
hold
we
on.
play games.
Yeah, Star Child says, should Microsoft have 343 and Coalition create 2 new IPs and let Gears and Halo sit out next gen after Infinite and Gears?
Why not?
I maybe would have said no before, but maybe split those teams up. I think there's something like 500 people working on Halo. Maybe you're going to start the generation with the Halo, maybe split them up and let half a team make something new. Maybe let half of the Coalition do something new. I don't know. Like, to me, you've got to do some fresh stuff. You've got to, the problem has always been, in my opinion, and hit that like button, guys. Like 600 plus watching and only 133 likes. Let's get over 200. Because I would appreciate it. Everybody here would appreciate it.
I believe in you guys.
I do. I believe in you guys too. So listen, I do. I believe that. Look, the chat's keeping it relatively clean. I thought for sure it would be kind of bad tonight, but
it's been pretty decent.
Exactly. They're actually, I mean, a couple little things here and there, but nothing too bad. But the main problem with Xbox this generation has been they're their own worst enemy. They don't cover for themselves very well. Like, look, Mario, Zelda. That stuff is old, but every time they reinvent those games and they come out and they score really well and do really well, and they sandwich them in between other games and other franchises. Sony does the same thing too. Hey, we're going to bring back Uncharted, but we're going to put it between this game and this game. We've got smaller AA games, but we're going to stick it between, God of War and Spider-Man. That's how Sony does things, and it works very well. You don't put your smaller games in the spotlight. Microsoft's smaller games have ended up being in the spotlight because they have no bigger game.
A bunch of games going from the beginning to the middle of the generation, and then all of a sudden they released them, year after year after that. Once they got delayed a couple times and stuff like that, they built it up that way. They built it up for the last generation.
They warned you about it. They said greatness awaits. They warned you.
That is true. That is true.
Xbox has a habit of releasing 2 games a year. Last year, I think it was like 2 games. This year, it's it's Gears and it was Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What is there to fill in the time in between besides the multi-plats? This is why you have those smaller titles, like you were talking about. Sony, drops those. Like right now, we're going to get Medieval. We're going to get the Iron Man VR. There's Judgment that just came out. I wouldn't say it's a small game, but it's not a mainline game.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's not a main game.
And they dropped the big stuff in the beginning of the year and some sprinkled at the end. And
but they had Days Gone and then they have Death Stranding to end it. So it works well, right? They've always got, and as a person who likes VR, I know it's not popular, but they've always got VR stuff coming out all the time. And I love that stuff. And I don't mind the smaller stuff because Sony has taken the focus away from just cramming as many indies as you can on the platform. And now it's about, the quality ones, because they realize there's a problem. They have too many. And they're some of them are just there and people buy them because they give you a platinum.
I got fireworks. Like, my neighbors are popping off fireworks. So I have to go in and out of mute. My bad, people.
Hey, no problem, bot, man. No problem. Stay here though, man. Just,
Oh, no, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Here. Good stuff. But it's like Microsoft is their own worst enemy, like this entire generation. Again, this is stuff when I looked up that their last new AAA IP was in 2015, I became livid. I'm like, are you kidding me? That means in a year and a half into the generation, they were like, well, we don't got to create anything new. How the hell do you do that? Who defends that? That's my problem. It's like, how can anyone go, well, okay. And then people go, well, it takes time to get new IP. So we've already waited from 2015. Yeah. They just get these studios last year, some of them this year. Are we supposed to wait another 3 to 5 years from that?
No,
so you're basically talking about
working on before they acquired the studios.
They were working on nothing apparently. Selfies and hey, they acquired.
To be fair, they were working on games. They just canceled all the shits.
Yeah, I mean they canceled a lot
before that though.
Oh, well,
Yeah, they did announce Scalebound early on.
Rainbow Scalebound announced
hey,
before that.
King LB says before Halo, Bungie made Oni, it's okay to experiment. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like let a smaller team. This is what most teams do. Most teams will let a couple of people or a handful of people go out and try something and maybe R&D something new. Microsoft, they're just like, nope, you gotta like. Why are they so staunch
exactly
with
what Ninja Theory
343?
did with Bleeding Edge.
I understand that. I understand that, man. But
And they're working on a single
that's
player
not
right
the hero
now.
Xbox needed.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean?
Dude, I am a huge
Bleeding
fan of
Edge
Ninja
launches,
Theory.
right? If that game launches and it gets another 60, what they so-called the Xbox template in the 60s, that's going to be another black eye. I'm hoping that game will, hit a 90, 85 Metacritic. I think it's going to be in the 80s. But if it doesn't, and it does that, it continues that negative energy and that negative publicity on into the next generation. So again, you're gonna have an even harder time to sell people on another $500, $600, $700 console.
Exactly. Hey, the geeky nerd says, didn't Phil say he was holding back last year? Where's that stuff? I think Bleeding Edge was that stuff. That's the sad part, right? And he's more excited about. Hey, Noof Nukem says the controller and sneaker game is strong. Hey, I love seeing Phil Spencer, Greenberg with the different sneakers. He's in Egypt 1 week. He's spending budget for gears on a trip across seas the next. It's great, man. He's got all these different Nikes.
Yeah, they're only selling like 10 of them though, right?
Exactly, right? And he's like,
he can admit that Microsoft and Xbox, they need to hire Xbox 448 when it comes to marketing. We've said this time and time again. I will gladly
Start your games library. You're good. Just sit down.
I think one of the main issues that we kind of gloss over, I try to bring it up here and there, get this panel's opinion on it, is that there's no doubt that Microsoft, put a halt on this generation at some point, and they're focused on next generation. That's as clear as day.
Yeah.
But the problem that I have a lot of times is, and a lot of people don't like it when we use this example, but Nintendo did it back with the Nintendo when the issues came up, when there was just a lot of shovelware and there was just a lot of games coming out that were like blah. Consumers were kind of wondering, should I buy? Should I not buy? One thing that Xbox is doing, and you hear it from the greats, Tim Schafer from Double Fine that was picked up. We saw a video that was made by Ninja Theory when they were picked up by Microsoft. They're like, the great thing about Microsoft is they're kind of taking a hands-off approach. And don't get me wrong, this is another one of those instances where it sounds good on paper, but realistically in business, it doesn't work that way. Again, people love these references, but maybe it's just because of my background and what I know. But you go into anybody that runs a Class A type restaurant, and you know what they're going to tell you? The owner here is an asshole. But they have to be an asshole. Yeah. Okay? Because you're not going to put 600 plates out at dinner time in New York and be nice and let people do. You guys make whatever you want. I'm the owner. You guys make whatever the hell you want. I'm going to go down the street and grab a slice. Let me know how tonight's that's not how it works, right? So my point being is that Phil with the hands-off approach, and maybe this is what Matt Booty's doing, we're going to find out. Leadership over there has to step on the gas. They've got to be more in control of their studios. And when I hear someone like Tim Schafer come out and say, hey, it don't really matter. Listen, we're still going to be Double Fine. We just got a Microsoft wallet now.
Man, see, everybody wait for Grim Fandango too.
Well, that's my point. So everybody's clapping their hands, and I'm sitting there like, that sucks, because to me personally, Double Fine has amazing. Hold on, Xbot. Double Fine has amazing talent. Yeah. Now let's put the money and the emphasis behind it and make something great. If you're gonna go ahead and just be like, make whatever you want, you know what they're gonna do? Dude, trust me. When you just let them make whatever, they're just gonna make another AA whatever, and it's going to be okay. Yeah. Why don't you take that talent and step on the gas a little bit and see what these guys really can put out? But there's no flame, there's no push to them into the fire.
Brother, when he says that there's still going to be Double Fine, basically just with a bigger budget, isn't that like what you would want from Double Fine? And you're saying it's going to be a AA whatever. You don't know that because the budget is now there for them.
I shouldn't say bigger budget. They just have a budget. Before they had to go look for money. Well, now they don't have to look for it.
They were scrapping up coins together in the couch to like finish Psychonauts.
Well, that's another problem, right? That's another problem I see is it seems like Phil has been going out tackling these distressed companies that are these developers that are just about to go out of business, so he gets them for $1 here, $1 there, and I mean, no, seriously, and
that's good business, though, brother.
No, I don't mind it, but the problem is when you get these distressed companies, there's a reason they're distressed. There's a reason that it's probably because they hadn't been putting out good quality content that would create that revenue. Now, Ninja Theory is a great buy.
They got hit with DMC,
they have a couple of great studios that I think could be over time that could turn into something big.
Absolutely.
But I just think in the short term, I think the only thing that they can turn around within the next 3 to 4 years will be those smaller titles that will not sell the system. We need system sellers in stuff that goes in the Game Pass. The fillers and stuff is not selling the system.
Yeah, but you know what it is? Game Pass, and I said this to a few people on Twitter, and a couple people are
nobody's buying. You don't have to buy an Xbox to play Halo.
Yeah,
if you're a console gamer,
Game Pass is turning into.
If you already, you could have a launch Xbox One and play it.
Yeah, but Game Pass is turning into an arcade, right? And if you guys are old enough to remember what an arcade is, there was 2 or 3 games that were worth their quarters, and the rest of you were like,
fillers,
right? They were fillers. Right. They were in it, right? So that's what Game Pass is. Game Pass has got 1, 2, 3, and then the people go, "Come on, Mooch! There's Wolfenstein. There's this. There's that." All I understand that, but all these other companies, Ubisoft, okay, Square Enix, they're going to have their own streaming services soon. And when they do, they're not going to put those games in Game Pass. So Game Pass is going to come down to first party and small little indies.
Exactly.
So if you've got a game where you only have a Halo, a Gears, and a Forza, and maybe an Initiative dropping once a year, and the rest is filler, you're not going to see the excitement and the hype unless it continues to be $1, forever. And it's not going to be $1 forever. That's the thing.
And here's the thing. So Double Fine, I'm looking at games that they've done. Okay, so they did a game called Broken Age. We probably got that game at some point free. It's like a little indie game. Psychonauts, Brutal Legend. That was, I guess, their only AAA game, and that was 2009. Grim Fandango. Psychonauts 2 comes out in 2020. That's a multiplat. They're pushing that. That's going to be so. They haven't the 2 games
Dude,
that
you
they're
forgot about Gang Beasts, man.
But that they published that game. They didn't make that game.
They didn't make it.
No. They didn't. Yeah. So hold on. So right now, Double Fine. Even if you're excited about Double Fine, they're finishing up Psychonauts 2 and a game called Rad. They haven't even started, and both those games are going to PS4. So they haven't, and they come out next year. So they'll start creating something for Xbox in 2020, and their games like Costume Quest, Massive Chalice, Stacking, The Cave, Iron Brigade. Those are the type of games you can expect, right? Like they make the games that they want to make, and they make these smaller type indie games. That's why, like, my biggest problem is
games they could afford to make.
But dude,
but
they're not gonna. You think they're gonna go out? Look at the head of In Exile Studios, right?
I'm not jumping the gun the way you guys.
I understand,
are.
dude. I understand what you're saying, but listen to what the head of In Exile. His name's Brian Fargo. He did an interview where he's talking.
To do with Double Fine. Okay,
I know this is another one of those smaller studios they picked up, and he's like, we're gonna keep doing Wasteland for another 10 years. This is our Fallout.
There you
go. Like Xbot. How many Wasteland games have you played? Are you stoked for Wasteland 3?
No, never played it.
Exactly, because it's realistically
they can still do other games on the side, even if that's their main game.
They could, but they're gonna split. They're gonna split up, and they have less than 100 people at that studio, and they would have to split it. So if you have like 40 people working on another game, I'm not sure how good it would be.
Their main game will be Wasteland. So even if they branch off, it's going to be something small. You don't branch off from Gears of War to go make something bigger than Gears of War. That's not what you do. That just doesn't happen.
I mean, that doesn't mean that talent can't shine. You know what I'm saying? Or shouldn't have they could if they want to. Maybe they have a budget and they have like a dream project. That's a possibility. But that's not very realistic what's happening here, because these smaller studios that Microsoft purchases, like what Kratos said, is exactly to suit their needs and what they're pushing. And what they're pushing is Game Pass and xCloud. Realistically, you have to understand that is what these games are going to make. Smaller AA titles.
Pass, man.
But my dude, I mean, unless they're all going to make Cuphead and Ori quality AA's to put in there, that's the only way that it'll be relevant. If they're going to just make stuff that's going to...
I don't see when it comes to Game Pass, you're like, man, AA games and stuff like that.
Because it's
I'm not Hunter World on there. They have...
they have that
games.
They have that now. Okay, but that's a Capcom game. I can get that anywhere I want. And if I want to exhaust the avenue of using Game Pass as an option, as opposed to maybe I don't own a console and I want to play that game, I can sign up to Game Pass on PC for $1 and get it. Cool. Cool. All I want is for Microsoft to deliver
Russian.
the goods, bro.
Two things that I want to mention about that, right? We were waiting so long for Banjo-Kazooie. We didn't get it. It ended up going to the Switch. We ended up looking for Battletoads. It's not the Battletoads.
Banjo-Kazooie, the characters are going to Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but I mean, again, for the last 3 years, we've been saying every Banjo, and we
and the tweet was annoying too because they're like, "We listened," and I'm like,
Exactly.
"What? You listen to who?"
Conquer be on their next. Why?
Nintendo fans.
I don't think Nintendo wants Conquer on it. Although they have changed.
Battletoads, then you got Battletoads, right? The one that we want.
Don't you
Something
dare
that was
say that,
graphically
Jay.
demanding, like the Battletoad characters from Killer Instinct. We want something with those graphics, with that.
That's what I thought.
And then we ended up with Xbox arcade
Sunday morning
/
cartoon.
Switch,
Yeah.
It could be cool though.
download looking game.
You know what they say when you assume, brother?
Yeah.
You make an ass out of you and me.
But I mean, like,
we're left to do that every year because we're waiting to E3. We're waiting, and all we have to do is assume. So,
Dude, I'm more excited for this Battletoads because they keep the original kind of like fight mechanic. All right, and I like the art style. I like the aesthetic of a Saturday morning cartoon.
You and like six other
I'm with you,
people.
Bot. I'm with you, Bot.
Thank you, Fox.
come on,
Thank
Fox.
you.
Of course, of course.
The thing is, there's nothing wrong with those titles. There's nothing wrong with those titles. I love me some Cuphead. I haven't even ended. I'm on the last boss to Cuphead. I enjoyed that game.
Cuphead hard is.
It is harder. It's harder than a
Oh
little
my
bit.
goodness.
He beats you up.
But I like that kind of that game is hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and I don't mind that. I'm not saying not to have that. Battletoads might be dope, but that's not. I didn't want only Battletoads. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool, Battletoads. Now where's the main course now? That was the side. Where's the main course?
Yeah, you wanted that new hotness. I get it.
Yeah, I did.
yeah, and I gotta tell you, because as hardcore Xbox as I was for so many years, it's just like each time you get punched in the gut, and then you're just like, "Ugh, ugh." Like I look at all the shit that I took, from Phil, from everybody, right? Like the crap that I took from just people in general.
No pun intended.
Exactly. Just defending, just kind of defending Xbox or whatever, and then it's just like here we are at the end of a generation, like. Maybe I want an apology for them. Like, our bad. We really stunk this generation, and we're sorry. Like that. Like I feel like they need to do that. Like, our bad. We really dropped that one, guys.
Crap! They
You
definitely
know,
don't need another apology from Xbox. They've been
We're
apologizing for the whole
sorry.
thing.
Well,
You're listening.
Hey, they gave you
They don't need
a
that.
sad edition, letting you know they were sad. Come on.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Dude,
how
I'm
do I
going to be
feel-
giving one of those away on next podcast.
Thanks to Yobi, right?
Yes,
And my
sir.
boy Yobi's getting hated on in the community now.
That'll
'cause
make
he's-
spoilers that are out in the wild.
Yeah,
now.
you know.
Yo, we
Cross
should
the
all
boy.
sign
They
it.
can't hate on Yobi, bro.
We should all
Yeah.
sign it for whoever wins. Everybody on the panel should sign it. yeah.
Exactly, man. That's what I'm talking about. I want to talk a little bit about this because this is something I know that pisses off Mooch and me too.
Oh, let's
so
do
Phil,
it. Come on, let's do it.
Phil Spencer, he did an interview recently. He confirmed that he has no mandate whatsoever for developers. It must be so easy to work with Microsoft. You ain't got to do shit. There's no mandate of power, no frame rate mandate, no resolution requirements. If you want to make a 720p game on the Scarlet, you're more than welcome to, per Phil Spencer. There's no, you don't have to do 8K. You don't have to do 4K. You don't have to do 1080p. You don't have to do 60 frames. You don't have to do 120 frames. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You can just half-ass your game and put it out on the Scarlet. Like, Mooch, how does that make you feel? Because to me, it sounds like the hands-off approach that he takes with his developers, and it seems like Microsoft games might even take longer than the major games that we're used to because they don't allow crunching. There's no overtime. You get your freaking lattes. You get your selfie sticks. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing when you work for Microsoft. You basically, and they've already said that, we don't do crunch time. We don't believe in it. They work their, 40-hour. How you get shit done?
Well, that's the thing. You don't get shit done. If I said to everybody right now that's on the panel, listen, you guys go to work tomorrow. I'm going to pay your salaries. I'm going to pay everybody's salary tomorrow. And I'm actually not going to check in with you at all. Watch your production drop day in and day out. Watch your production drop. You have to have, everything. I don't care if you work in production. I don't care if you work on cars. I don't care if you work in the restaurant business. If you don't have specs, specifications, deadlines, times to meet, progress reports, this is an issue. And let me tell you why this is a big issue over there, and there's a leadership issue. You had 343. Shout out to XBot 448, right? Every time I think of Halo, I think of XBot more than I actually think of 343,
right? You do.
right? That's
Damn
how
right
good he
you
is at
do.
promoting that. But here you have 343 going out there after what they've already apologized and said that they didn't do what they wanted to do. You know, Bonnie came out and did that like goodwill tour about 6 to 8 months ago. And they come out there and you don't have Bonnie Ross on stage talking about that game. That's a huge miss. And you might go, well, Mooch, where are you tying this all into? What I'm tying this into is, as Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, I would request, you know, with a bit of authority, request that the head of 343 come out and talk to the game a bit. Talk to gamers, let them know what's going on in that scene, what they can expect after that scene deploys, what they're getting for their money, where they came from in Halo 5, and where they're going forward with Halo Infinite. This is the type of stuff you have to do as a leader. Show that, and you have to put your foot on the pedal. And this is the biggest problem. I just don't see that with Microsoft. And here's the thing. They've got enough people that are happy with the product that they're giving, and they're making money on it, guys. They are. And I know, Crap, you love saying we don't play money. I get that. But they're making money on it. And hypothetically, I don't know if we're going to see a change in direction. This is the way that they want their business model to go.
You probably won't, but if you're not mandating your and listen, I get what you're saying, because people are like, but Crap, you said you wanted them to have less freedom. Like, listen, I want like some of the studios that are IP factory to be able to do a little something else if they want to. But some of these other studios, I feel like, need a little bit of direction, right? Like Microsoft can at least go, hey, we got this IP. It might be a good fit. Hey, Ninja Theory, you know, Marvel's friendly with their IPs. They're giving Sony stuff. They're giving Nintendo stuff. You want us to like, see if we get the Thor IP for you? Is that up your alley?
I was going to say Gambit from X-Men. You know,
dude,
that would go
like,
right with
I think
Ninja
something
Theory.
like Thor would have been great for Ninja Theory. Hack and slash? Are you kidding me?
Hey, what do you think? Gambit or Thor for Ninja Theory?
You know, like, listen, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You don't have to force things on people, and I know Sony has kind of hands off, but look, Sony started that when Naughty Dog's like, yeah, we don't want to do Uncharted anymore. You know what Sony did? They started a new studio full of ex-Naughty Dog people with Naughty Dog overseeing them. They're going to continue on the Uncharted series. That series is bank. It would be crazy not to continue on that series. So they still, even though they're kind of hands off, but they also have some of the most talented developers in the world. Like Naughty Dog, no matter what anybody says, is the most talented developer right now. They are. They are. And Sony absolutely puts the pressure. You give them their liberties, but there's got to be structure. Like, dude, people want to buy a PlayStation for The Last of Us 2. Nobody wants to buy an Xbox for Crackdown or freaking State of Decay 2 or Sea of Thieves or, you know what I mean? I don't even think Gears. Like, I don't see the hype from people going, man, I can't wait to play. I mean, the normal people, yeah, that we would see, but you don't see outsiders going, I got to pick me up that Xbox for that new Gears that's coming out. There's not that usual hype.
Well, the thing about it is, again,
it
goes back to leadership, right? So the way that they've designed this sales marketing pitch, it clearly isn't working, in my personal opinion, because you don't have that hype. And that hype has to be generated from the studio, from the company, out towards us, and then you broadcast that forward. The thing about it is the campaign, I know a lot of people love Gears multiplayer, me being one of them, but let's be honest, Gears is played for the campaign. We don't know what we're going to play.
Yeah,
it's 8 weeks out.
Hey, we can hold a bake sale if they need money. If they need money for advertising, I can sell my bath water. That's very popular.
I'll make the brownies.
I'll be happy to sell my bath water. It's probably not going to be.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
I'm just saying, you know.
Back to gaming.
I'm sure we can get. I'm sure we can.
Well,
we
got
can
here
put
late,
together,
and I'm leaving early.
we can put together, you know, like old school church style, man. Pass around the collection plate. Say, here you go, Phil. Market some Gears of War. Do a commercial or two. Put up a billboard, because nobody knows this game's coming out in less than 2 months. You got some kind of half-assed
We went out for, you know, I don't know if you guys are in fantasy football or whatever. I went out the huge bar event. We take this one room up. We all go out, right? Sports! Right?
Sports.
But at the same time, I'm sitting there, and they've got this massive projector screen at this bar. Amazing, amazing setup. And you're sitting there, and all I saw was Spider-Man commercials going on the entire time we're at the draft. And in between commercials on ESPN. And it's ESPN, right? So they know their demographic. They know who they're reaching out there. And people are sitting there talking about it. Like, I didn't say one word, right? It's not about, doing this propaganda stuff. No, I'm sitting there, and people are like, oh, dude, they're like, are you getting this? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm getting it. They're like, oh, maybe I'll pick up a PS4. I have an Xbox. Like, people were saying that. It brings up hype. And I know when I say TV, people are like, cut the cord, Mooch. Nobody watches TV. Apparently, people still do. Okay? And maybe it's an East Coast thing because it's cold over here 9 months out of the year, right?
Commercial, man. So,
but they need commercial. I haven't seen an Xbox commercial in so long, and not one that's repetitive. People are like, Mooch, I told you there's one. I found one out in the wild. All right, great. But I mean, when I say Spider-Man and I say Red Dead Redemption 2, we're on commercial after commercial after commercial, nonstop for 3-4 months. That was killer, and that beats it. In advertising works, and to do this grassroots thing and the YouTube thing, I understand YouTube is the next TV. I get it; it's going to be the next cable. I get that. I'm not like ignorant to that, but at the same time, TV's not dead, right? Why did Sony paint an entire subway Spider-Man? Why did they take a court in the NBA and do a commercial for Kratos? Why?
Hey,
because
John G says, bring back the Mad World for Gears 5 commercial.
Absolutely.
Hey, remember the one from the Sounds of Silence for Gears 4? That was fire. Why not do something like? And I know people are like, but they'll do spoilers. We heard that Marcus's dad was alive in a Gears 3 commercial, and it made me want to play the game even more. Right. So you can't really like use that, like show something from the campaign unless it's like I said, like Mooch, maybe you've heard this, maybe it might have been Rand who said it or somebody, and he said it on a podcast before. So it's not like I'm spreading secrets, but there was at a time where Microsoft considered no campaigns for Gears and Halo. They just were thinking about doing just multiplayer only stuff. And then they went back on that. Right. You know, their last few campaigns have been garbage, you know, Crackdown campaign. Sea of Thieves didn't have a campaign. State of Decay 2 didn't have a campaign. It's just random events, right? Yeah. Like, you know, it just seems like they have no aspect. Halo 5, sorry, Xbot, the campaign was very lackluster, you know?
It had its moments, but I can see where you're coming from.
Exactly, right? Like, look, I loved Halo 4's campaign. I thought that was like the best one, in my opinion. In my opinion, I liked the Halo 4, and I even liked the multiplayer, but obviously other people didn't like it, but I liked it. But
Halo 4's story was off the chain.
I liked it. It was very good, and it was the Cortana Chief stuff was like the best we've seen between them. It was really good. And then I don't know what the hell happened with Gears 5. But the campaign just took a step back. Their games this generation have taken a step back, and they haven't done a good job at nurturing the new IP.
Ask Foxy. I really want to hear Fox's opinion, and actually I want to get back to Kratos too. But I'm saying, like, I want to ask Fox. Fox, from the outside looking in, when you see and hear the debates going on the panel, and I know you like to stay more independent, but like, where do you see the direction in Game Pass? Is that where do you miss the old school Xbox fight and fire that they used to have in the 360 era?
I mean, damn.
It is.
I'm kind of neutral on it right now, but I do miss the old school way it was, and how, they used to be like on the 360, like those days. I remember those days. So yeah, if anything, that's my go-to. That's my preferred way of going about it. But that's not what they're doing, so I'm kind of like adjusting to see what they come up with right now.
We adjust. You have to adjust, especially.
I mean, or you could jump off the ship. I mean, either way, whatever.
Well, no, the thing is, listen. I think as gamers, everybody on this panel will agree. You know, you play on everything, right? I was just as much in Switch conversations. I have a Switch. I don't think it's by any means anyone's primary console here, but I'll tell you right now, that's a hell of a console, and it has great games on it as well. So,
hey, Daryl Barton, he says when God of War was coming out, they advertised it before every one of Crap's videos, and he was doing 3 or 4 a day. And every one of them got a
I don't get the spoiler thing. You guys remember X-Men Last Stand? I went to go see that in the theater, and somebody yelled just as this movie started, "Jean dies at the end!" I was like, what the fuck? Guess what? I still love the movie. I mean, it was one of the worst ones, but I loved watching that movie. It doesn't ruin shit. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Hey, some dude really did yell that.
That was like with Avengers, right? Like you knew that Robert Downey Jr. and Captain America's contract was up. So they weren't, you knew something was going to happen there.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, they're like, that's a wrap. We're done. They're crying like it's been a strong journey, and you're like, okay, well, something's going to happen with them.
Did I ever tell you somebody ruined Gears of War 3 for me at GameStop, and they told me about Dom, and I was so bad, and then I waited a couple months and I played it, and it's still my favorite Gears of War. Gears of War 3.
Gears 3 is amazing.
It is
Yeah,
amazing.
I know, but they ruined that shit for me, and I was like, I will burn this GameStop down to the ground.
Yeah, well, hey, like people do that stuff. They like, I remember I saw people spoiling Game of Thrones. I've never watched Game of Thrones, but people were spoiling it all over the place, and I was like, oh, okay, like I don't get what the satisfaction is with that, but you know, do what you got to do. So it's like just one of those kind of things that kind of is annoying or whatever. But just kind of, you know, whatever. So it's also rumored that Microsoft is going to release a $75 to $100 cloud-based machine that it's going to play xCloud. It's going to do some kind of local rendering. It's got to come with a controller or whatever. So Brad Sams talked about this. The problem is their controllers are already between 60 and 80 bucks. Yeah. So that makes me believe that this thing is going to be priced probably $179. And, you know, because everybody, when the SAT edition came out, everybody's like, here's the $150 Xbox is going to sell gangbusters. They're going to sell 70 freaking Xbox. It's going to be crazy. Xbox is back, baby. Woo! And then, no, like, literally, I don't think 10 people bought this damn thing. Like, is this thing even sold anymore? Like, I don't know. But I think this cloud-based thing, if they do indeed release it, is going to be more than the $100. Is 150, 179 bucks, something like that. I would bet, especially since allegedly it does some of the rendering, which to me, doesn't that tell you that their cloud thing isn't as good as what they're trying to pitch? Yeah, if they're like, hey, the movements, you know, this handles your character movements because it actually renders your character, like, and everything else is cloud powered, then that tells me that there's not going to be a solution or 100% solution for getting your characters to move one-to-one with how you control it. And they're like kind of admitting that. I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about this?
Well, not unleast, like when it comes to these streaming things, and I know Sony, you know, said basically further on down the road or whatever. You know what Sony is saying? We're waiting for 5G. So until that happens, yeah, if they make a smaller box that you're going to have, if you want to stream games to your TV or whatnot, I can see that. Me being a parent, all right, and I have, you guys know, I have like a third world country when it comes to children, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to buy, you know, a $300-400 system for, you know, the twins and the 15.
You could just buy them a launch Xbox One though, and then that thing will probably stream too.
Here's the thing, like that stream box to me, and what I'm thinking, I have an interest in that, not for myself, but for the younger kids in my house, that they'll still be able to play their Xbox games. I won't have to invest like so much on hardware. They already have Xbox One controllers.
Xbox. I don't mean to cut you off, but you don't really have to spend any money for those kids to do that. They have tablets already. They have phones already. They can just use xCloud.
Yeah, we took their tablets away just because of some subject type content they were checking out. At some point in time.
The whole remote play is there. The xCloud stuff is going to be there, and supposedly
I got you.
free.
But there is something they grew up. They didn't grow up with the smaller screens in their hands. Like Snaps was an absolute gamer, console gamer. They grew up around the console, so I can see them with having a game on the TV screen. It's kind of like what they grew up seeing. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to you know, other their friends out there who were literally, you know, raised with an iPhone and a tablet in their hand, you know, to kind of give them company or whatnot. So they're more on the console side of things, so they won't necessarily.
Of course they are. Mostly everyone is always going to pick console over anything mobile. Mobile is just an option for when you're not at home. But when you're at home, you're not going to play on no small screen. You're going to play on your TV. And they're aware of that. And they're putting that out there. But where they are going to get you is you're going to have to pay for all your children's Xbox Live, right? So they can each have their own. You got to pay for all their Game Pass and xCloud subscriptions and all that, right? And you got to buy the controllers and you got to buy the device.
Hopefully the Stream Box has the same kind of like share program when it comes to Game Pass, Xbox Live, and stuff that we have now.
That's the part I don't know. Yeah.
No, I said.
I hope so too.
I'm not saying here like, well, I think they're gonna do that. I'm like, well, hopefully they do. If not, then I have a situation.
When I hear Microsoft, all I hear is don't
like money. I think they're just oversaturating the market with too much shit.
Yeah, like that's probably why the Lockhart didn't make it, right? They're like, okay, well, guys, and here's the thing. Here I am, some schlub, and I've been saying this for a while. We said this, a year and a half ago, Mooch? I was like, so their next-gen plan is Scarlett, Lockhart, some kind of streaming device One X, the S, and some kind of digital thing too. That's 6 freaking consoles,
Yeah.
right? Like, what the hell are they thinking? At some point, you got to go, hey, we got to pull back a bit. And, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. But for me personally, I still think it's a little bit too confused. Like, you got 6 options. You're going to go in there and you're going to be like, well, I want to get one for my son. Well, what's out new? Well, you've got a Scarlet. You've got this, and you've got the X, and you've got this. Or you could just get a PS5. Well, how many versions of that? Just one. It's a PS5. It's, plays PS5 games or PS4 games. It's just, like to me, it just seems like keep it simple, stupid. Have you ever heard that? To me, Microsoft overthinks everything and they don't explain shit. Now listen, I watched this the little video that they did, the little 5-minute direct that Nintendo did talking about the Switch Lite, right? But it explained everything you could want to know. There was no more questions, right? Like they told you it doesn't connect to the TV.
Right.
The Joy-Cons don't come off. Okay? Like they tell you the stuff that you need to know.
They told you the good, the bad, and the ugly. They even told you what games would be compatible with it, because there's certain games like Mario Party or whatever where you
and they show the back of the box.
They show the back of the box.
Yeah, they're like, if it has
compatible
this,
or not,
you're good.
You need the Joy-Cons accessible. You can buy them alternate. You can buy them and use them with the Mini or the Lite, but you can't use it. You can't use that game without those Joy-Cons separately. They really put that out there, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was impressed how upfront and really direct they were at Nintendo. Like, they didn't just make that an advertisement like, you want it, you want it, you want it. No, they were like, this is what it is. This is what it's intended for. And let's be honest, okay? It's going to sell very well. It's to replace the 3DS.
It is.
That's
like,
what it is.
listen, they
Period.
snuck
That's the new portable.
They snuck it out there, right? Like, and they called a Switch, which makes no sense, since the whole idea behind the Switch was switch between playing on a TV or playing on a handheld, right? Like, to me, it makes no sense.
Switch.
But to everybody, to Xbox point, he always calls it the most powerful handheld ever. This would appeal.
I stand by that.
Yes, but listen, this would appeal to the people that. This would be the people that only use it as a handheld. You save yourself $100 or whatever. I get it.
Yeah, but the only thing is that handheld thing was kind of like the niche that got people like looking at the Switch to begin with as well. So like I could take this with me, no problem. Oh damn, I'm in. Let me spend that $300.
Here's where
like,
maybe you guys can help me clarify this. The one thing I didn't understand was a lot of people on Twitter were writing me and they're like, Mooch, but you don't understand is I play my Switch portable all the time, so this one makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, listen to what you just said. I play this Switch portable all the time, so I have to have it. You're already doing that.
You already have it.
And the one in your hand does more than the one you're gonna buy.
But it's
Dude,
smaller.
you get like maybe an hour more battery life with the Lite.
Actually, they said
it's like 30.
It's a half hour. Yeah.
A half an hour.
30
Your
minutes.
screen goes from whatever 6.2 to 5.5. That sucks. It's a 720. It didn't go up to 1080 like the rumor was going to be.
Yeah, that's what I was interested to
You
see,
lose
man.
accessibility to some of the games, right? I mean, I don't. Why is it if you don't have
No
a Switch?
kickstand.
If you don't have a Switch, yes, I could see you maybe wanting that one. I totally get it. But
Dude, how are they
why
gonna
if you
make
How are you
have
gonna play
one?
Labo games?
Ew.
It doesn't support them. My robot outfit is useless.
Yo, Pred made me want to throw the
Ew.
Switch out the window. Ew.
Yeah. Hey, look, and it's gonna. Here's the thing, though, man. That thing's gonna print money for them,
Exactly.
and they're gonna.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna look. This the thing is gonna push back past everything Microsoft does, because you know what happens. People are excited about the software that Nintendo makes,
You're
right?
talking
They've already
about printing money now when it comes to Nintendo.
well, no,
and
because
then
they look, but
Microsoft makes money, and you're like,
they make
no,
it. But listen,
let's
I'm
get
saying
pitchforks,
this
man.
console is going to sell well.
Not
But
the
the
same.
reason why it's going to sell well, Xbox, is because Nintendo's announced games. They've already announced the next Zelda. They did the
Next
little
Metroid too.
yeah, and the next
Dude,
Metroid.
I said this. I am in the same boat with you on that. All
Yeah.
they did was show a little quick thing to show that the new Zelda is in development.
Exactly.
I am in the same boat with you. Microsoft should do that. I'm not selling my X because they're not doing
Oh, dude, I'm not going to sell my X. That's how I'm going to play the few games that appeal to me
my
next gen.
goodness.
He said the few games. Jesus
You know?
Christ.
Hey,
True.
this is true. Listen, so here's the list of 17 games for Project X Cloud that's being beta tested right now. This list made me hurt.
Halo,
In a
Gears, and
way-
Forza.
Yeah. No, here's the list. It's all first party stuff, right? This list really made me hurt. Crackdown 3 campaign, Disneyland Adventures,
No.
Halo Wars 2, Halo Wars Definitive Edition, Rare Replay, Rush Disney Pixar Adventure, Super Lucky's Tale, Sea of Thieves, Hellblade, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Halo 5. Like that, those are our games, guys. Like
I thought you said 17. That wasn't 17.
Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Killer Instinct is in there too.
There you go.
I mean, that's a
test right there.
It is. But what? It just makes
game.
me sad that we haven't got a new one. You know what I mean? They haven't updated it, even though that would be perfect for their model of Game Pass or whatever. But yeah, Forza Motorsport, for some reason it just says Forza Motorsport. I'm sure it's probably 5 or 6 or 7, but yeah, that's in there as well. But you would expect that as well.
Test right there for xCloud.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, these games like Super Lucky's Tale, Sea of Thieves, Rare Replay, you know, Halo Wars, Disneyland Adventures, Crackdown. It has to be the Crackdown 3 campaign because ain't nobody in the multiplayer. I tried. I looked. Like I get put in the lobby with 2 people.
I went back in and played the campaign because of the wingsuit. Dude, you gotta try that.
Yeah, they added the Superman 64 DLC, man. I hear people really were high on that, man.
You gotta try
Flying
that.
through wings. I try to, man. I try to give that game the benefit of the doubt, but then I just get pissed off because
that game
5 years.
Well, to me, that game
was that the list for xCloud?
Yeah, that's the beta test of xCloud right now. Those are the games. Only first party stuff. Like stuff
listen, you guys know this, and I know I'm fighting this fight by myself. I don't know if Kratos will join me on this one, but
he's a Stadia backer.
I'm a Stadia founder.
Yes, sir.
And I'm all for Stadia and I'm for xCloud. People are like, Mooch, why would you listen? I got news for you. The same thing that I'm advocating for Xbox and Sony. I think competition is healthy. You can't have just xCloud come out and not have there's a lot of people like, Mooch, I want Stadia to fail, but I want xCloud to strive. Well, they both are going to either work or they're both not going to work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this is a streaming service. This is either going to catch on or it's not. And I personally think that Stadia is watching, Google is watching everybody in this fight right now. Yep. And I guarantee you, I don't know how they're going to do it. I just know they're going to do it in this method. They are going to come out and get exclusive content on Stadia day one. And that's how they're going to roll. Because, listen, they don't have a dedicated box. They don't have dedicated studios. So what do? Take a page out of that 360, buy them up, right? Buy 'em up. So I want to be there day one because I want to be there. If they get content that I want to play, and people are like, Mooch, how could you give them $120? People bought bad games all generation.
He always calls me out on this. You bought the collector's edition of State of Decay 2.
You bought State of Decay 2 collector's edition, man. I mean, we're gamers, man. We've all spent $100 and we've all regretted $100 at times, right? So
but let's Mooch, let's not forget. We've all spent $150 on just one controller. So we've all bought maybe 10, 20 controllers. We've bought at least 6, 7 Xboxes. We've bought about 4 PlayStations. Now we're going to be buying 2 Switches. Let's not act like $120 is.
And not just that, but let's talk about what we get for our money. I like to say that people don't break down the dollar. Okay, you're getting the Chromecast. That's a $60 value on the shelf. You're getting a controller. Any controller with any company is $60. Right there. There's my $120 already justified. Bang, got that right there. Then I got 3 months of the Founders, which is the Pro Edition. I get 3 months to give to a buddy if you want or whatever. That's up to you guys. And then I get the full Destiny game with the new DLC that I can bring my Xbox character to. So when I hit the road for work, I can play that game.
Who are you going to play Destiny 2 with, though?
You can play it with everybody. It's crossplay.
Anybody.
It's crossplay.
It's not crossplay.
No, it's not crossplay. It's just cross progression.
It's cross progression. No crossplay.
Well, here's the thing about it, right? $129. That's a much easier sell for me than this damn Xbox Mini. That crap thinks is going to cost $150.
You're talking to Streambox.
Let me answer Xbox.
You can't be mad at one and then
it's the same thing.
Xbox. First of all, we're assuming that only Mooch and Kratos bought in on Google. That's it, right?
You guys can team up,
right? But my point is, though, let's say my point is I can take Destiny 2, right? So Destiny 2's got its dailies, things to do. Yep. You're right. So here's Xbox question, right? Who are you gonna play? When I'm on the road. First of all, I'm not on the road all day, all night, 7 days a week, 365. So when I'm out there, I do my dailies, catch up. I can then bring that back over to Xbox, play with Knox and all you guys, I can transfer that save back and forth. So at least when I'm on the road,
That's a good point.
right now I'm playing.
Absolutely.
Right now I got my Switch. I'm playing Bayonetta 2. I'd rather be playing Destiny 2, catching up on my dailies, doing what I got to do.
That's
Playing
a good
some
point.
Division.
Yo, the only thing I feel is like the hiccup with Stadia, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but in order to play, your games in that 4K resolution, first off, you need a certain, I think it's 35 megabits or whatever. But don't you have to have the subscription as well? So that's the only hiccup. Like, you gotta buy your
No. Wait.
What?
Once you buy it, right? Once you buy it, it's yours. The actual 1080p streaming stuff is free. The only thing that you don't get is when they start giving you free games and stuff like that. For example,
but you can stream it up to 4K
if my Game Pass subscription dies, then I can no longer play those games. It's the exact same thing. So if they give you a bunch of free games, but if your subscription dies, then you can't play those games. But all the games that you purchase and stuff.
I think what Bot is saying is to get 4K, do you have to pay, or if you opt for the free option, it's only the 1080p and 7.
Yeah, the free option is 1080p. That's for free.
That's the hiccup. That's the bump in the road.
How's that a hiccup?
Let's face it, resolution is not the reason that is not the
what kind of mobile device are you rocking 4K?
But I agree with Bot. I agree
Come on.
with Bot that it shouldn't be based on it shouldn't be a tier. It shouldn't be locked to a price tier. It should be, if my connection can do it, then it can do it. Because if I pay,
if you bought the game, because you'll be able to buy the game.
I agree. I agree with Bot.
So wait, real quick, what laptop phone are you guys using on the road?
That's 4K.
That's 4K.
Thank you.
Okay, but I'm using my TV in my house. I mean, I guess on the road.
But if you're at home, you might as well boot up your Xbox.
Yeah, we already said that. I'm not playing. That's the thing. Crap gives me shit, and I always say I'm not playing Google Stadia in the house.
But the people that are going to use this option, right? People that don't own a PlayStation or don't own an Xbox, right? And they get in Stadia. Oh, I like Google.
Those people are not worried about 4K. Trust me.
If they got
they don't have an Xbox or PlayStation, trust me, they're not worried about fucking 4K.
You guys are touting Destiny and everything you can do with that game, but what about future games?
They have exclusive. They showed
that they're going to buy up. They're going to buy up exclusive.
Yeah, they're going to buy. They already showed up exclusive called Guilt and a couple more.
Yes, they did.
Like what other games in the future are you really going to play? That they? I mean, we don't know.
We don't know, right? It's kind of like Xbox. We got to wait till E3.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
E3.
like Mooch said, right? He's in. So if he's in, right, and you in too, Kratos, right? So if they do snatch up these exclusives, right, that you can't get anywhere, right? You're not going to only play those exclusives on the road, right? You're going to want to play them in your house.
And nothing.
So if I'm that invested, I'm also paying $10 a month.
Exactly.
And I'm going to have my 4K.
Listen, we pay $10 now for Game Pass.
If I have the connection and connected,
let me tell you right now, Knox. Let me tell you, if Google's all that and Stadia is all that, if it is, right, big if, I'm dropping Netflix in a minute.
Facts.
But the whole thing with hold on, you're talking about Game Pass and it being similar, but the whole thing here with the Stadia is with the 4K option or whatever. With Game Pass, it's just that flat fee and you get all those games and new games go in. With Stadia, you're paying $60 for a game
that you own. Then
it's
on your account.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing for me. I'm saying the speed bump here, like people are going to look at it and be like, "Well, why the hell do I have to pay $10 extra for a higher resolution here if I bought the game outright?"
You're not just spending $10 just for the resolution bump. You can't tell half truths. You got to tell the whole truth.
Dude, you already talked.
It's not just that. They tell you $10, right? This is what comes with $10. You get the Destiny and all the other new games that they decide to throw in there for free, right? That's what you get for free.
Well, Destiny's
wait. Let me finish. Right? You get the 4K. You get the 4K streaming ability.
I'm trying to understand.
You get all the other free games that they're adding in there, and you get all of that stuff, and then more features that they added, like they talked about. Possibly doing the hangout stuff in there. You press a button, somebody can jump in your game with you. There's a lot of more features.
Oh, that's not free either. That's a part of the
with every game coming out
about that's part of that. We can't just pick one or two things and
if they can guarantee me cross progression with every multi-plat coming out, that would be a win for me. But right now it's just Destiny.
Well, they haven't said anything yet. They really haven't gotten to that.
That's why I'm like, I can't be sold on it until they say that to me.
Listen, and that's the thing. I've said this all the time, and I'll say it again tonight. I will never give anybody a sales pitch on Stadia. I just want to be there. I think what they're going to do is just as exciting. And I know that Google's, well, if we're talking about it on a podcast, I'm pretty sure somebody, and they did bring in big people that are in the gaming world. Phil Harrison's not one of my favorite people out there, but he's been around. He's probably said to them, we don't have dedicated developers. We don't have dedicated bots.
I thought YouTube integration was going to be free with this whole thing.
Well, I don't know. You got to realize, right? They're not really selling you any hardware per se. It's a service. Microsoft is selling you like 5-6 different services right now. So it's a service. So they're selling you a service. So of course you're gonna have to subscribe to it. $9 a month that they're charging or whatever. It's not gonna make or break anything. And this is something new. Obviously, Sony, right? And obviously Microsoft saw a value in Google Stadia where they had to damn near partner up to try to take on this behemoth. So obviously they believe in it.
Facts. That's true.
I think that maybe it's possible that Microsoft maybe thought Google was going to be too big a player.
Yeah.
Or maybe a bigger player than they actually are. Because there were rumors that they were going to do a hybrid. They were going to do a console too.
Yeah.
And the fact that I felt like if they would have done
Here's
a console.
the thing, though, crap. But if they go into the console space right now, that console space, let's say there's 150 million customers right now. All they're going to do at best right now is come in and take a third of that, right? Or take take a quarter of it if you want to count Nintendo in there too. They're not going to bring more. What they're trying to do is say, listen, you guys enjoy that right there. We know what the future is. We're going to go over here. We're going to make this platform where it's mobile. You take it wherever you want, anywhere. That's their shtick. If you don't like it, that's fine. I get it. I'm not here to talk anybody into it. But I'm saying this. I'm excited for xCloud because I've got myself invested very heavily in the Xbox market, right? I got a lot of games. I can bring them everywhere. Great. I am all about it. I'm not pro Stadia and not pro xCloud. I'm 50-50. I'm in on both of them. Yeah. But I think Google's going to play dirty, and I don't care. But I think they're going to go out and they're going to say, I'm making this up. I'm totally making this up, but I have to give you guys an example. Destiny 3, they're going to do what Sony did. I want 2 or 3 strikes exclusive over here. I want gear exclusive over here. And guess what? If I got that, I'm in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Well, listen, Google has.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We cannot
you can't play that. You can't play that natively, man. It's not. You streaming Destiny, man. We doing a raid, and your ass is lagging and shit.
When everybody hyping up xCloud, wasn't everybody just hyping up xCloud?
I wasn't. I hate
xCloud.
Like it was.
xCloud
and everything.
xCloud is an option, though. xCloud is an option that you're gonna have on your box. Yeah, but there's no console.
Knox,
to me, xCloud is an option for Xbox, right? Knox. Meaning that when I play,
you don't even need Xbox to play those games. That's
I know that. I know,
Xbox but actually a thing of the future. It's all about the service. Yeah. So you're going to be able to play that thing on any and every. I guarantee you, within the next few years, the Google Chromecast will have an Xbox app. You'll be able to play your Xbox games on there. That's just the way things are.
Absolutely, but I still need that device. Me personally, right now, and going forward, I'm always going to need the device in my house that gives me the best performance.
This same conversation happened. This exact same conversation happened to a certain degree with physical and digital content beginning of this generation.
Yep.
And people were saying, "I'll never go digital. I'll never do it.
Don't start,
I can't do it." Right?
Well, I'm
the biggest culprit are Fox and Crap, and they're both digital.
Well, listen. Digital is one thing because I can still play that offline. Like if there's a problem, right now, my fiance's house, the internet is like really sketchy right now. Right. Like there's a ton of jitter. They got to come out and fix it. You can still like watch a little bit of stuff online, but it's very pixelated. So I would be totally without gaming.
Jitter though.
Yeah, it's a lot of jitter. I know it's a real term, jitter. It's a thing that when you test the line. Yeah, it's a real term.
I'm a collector. If physical ain't gonna die for me, that's all I'm saying.
I'm asking everybody, when you're thinking streaming, and that's why I'm not ever saying to somebody you need to invest in it. But streaming, this conversation is going to take a drastic change in 12 months. It's going to get better. 24 months, it'll be even better.
I feel like Stadia, like Google will have to do something like what I want to talk about here, which is Epic Games. Epic Games, obviously not as big as Microsoft, but they're out there making deals. So they will personally refund Shenmue 3 backers who are unhappy with Epic Store exclusivity. So if you guys don't know, remember they announced Shenmue 3. They did this big crowd like Kickstarter thing. A ton of people donated to it. The game's coming to PS4 and PC, but now it's not coming to PC like Steam. It's coming to Epic Game Store. So Epic is like, hey, we'll refund anybody's money who's not happy about this.
Yeah.
So they stepped up to the plate, which I think is huge.
Well, it took them a little while to do that too.
Yeah, but
At
listen,
first they're like, no
No, but
refunds
the game isn't out, so
Yeah.
they
You
get
know,
they get the good grace.
But not only just that, but also the Rebellion CEO says Epic exclusivity actually helped their game be better, and it also he said that pissing off people isn't necessarily always a bad thing. So I like the kind of bravado that Epic Games does. I actually wish that Microsoft would take whatever hormone Epic's taken and kind of grow a set.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. That Google's taking that Epic approach. Nope. Everybody said Steam can't be reckoned with. Steam's a non-stoppable force. Who steps in? Epic Games steps in. All of a sudden, a huge brick wall smashes that train right to a stop. They're coming in there with exclusive content. And that's the one thing I don't understand. That's the one thing we didn't really get into enough, really, I think, tonight. Is that something that Xbox has to go back to their roots.
Absolutely.
Exclusive content works. Check out Epic Games and watch what Google does moving forward. And that's why
good exclusive content works.
Right? Absolutely. Look at listen, good exclusive content. Look at who Google brings on stage day one. Bungie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bang.
You don't think they'd have done well if they'd been like, yo, Master Chief Collection is only coming on Xbox Store?
Well,
they won't do it because they don't.
I'm just saying,
anymore.
like, it's a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Like,
PC gamers would have been heated, brother.
You know what? They'd have been
They
heated,
hate-
but they'd have fucking brought their ass over to the Microsoft Store.
If they wanted it
Prior
badly
to the-
enough, if they wanted it
prior
badly
to
enough.
the Play Anywhere thing, right? When they finally opened up to Play Anywhere, the games were exclusively on the Microsoft Store. PC gamers didn't care. They continued on with Steam or whatever, and now Microsoft's opened up to Steam. Now they got their games going to Steam. So
well,
that
the games they're putting on Play Anywhere weren't all that, to be honest with
No,
you. But
I-
like, have
well,
they brought out
they didn't
Master
have
Chief
the
Collection
store,
though? The fucking
but the store was
mothership.
horrible, and it just.
I mean, they had Resident Evil, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to go to the Windows Store, period. I
Exactly.
mean, there's more people leaning towards the Epic Store, even though they hate on it.
Yep.
But there's still people trying to get that exclusive content.
Absolutely.
Regardless.
Even Epic Store trying to tie up. They're buying listen. Next generation. I'm gonna tell you what it's going to boil down to, right? You can say this generation was about hardware all you want. All right, fine, it was about hardware. Next generation is going to be about exclusivity.
Yep.
Whoever has
Content.
more exclusives, that's all it's about. And if you don't have a hand in that fight, it doesn't matter what hardware you come out with. You're going to lose because Epic is going for it. Steam eventually is going to start going for it. You got Google, obviously they're going for it.
Every Jay, right now, every developer's hearing this and they're ordering Dom Perignon with their chicken wings tonight.
Yeah. Look,
because they know they're going to be coveted.
Right. They create they have their own store. They said that, look, we're going to start offering our games exclusively on our store. You got, Walmart, everybody's going to do exactly. They're fighting for every last dollar. And with Phil having this we don't care mentality, play any and everywhere, wherever you want, you're going to get left behind if you don't man up.
Go for the throat.
Yeah. You gotta do something to be competitive. I feel like Phil has kind of lost that competitive edge because remember, he was in it to win it when he took over, right? And then he wanted Xbox gamers to feel like first class citizens. That's why we had the which I wish they probably would have still had. We wouldn't have so many crappy indies. What they had that parity clause, right? It either has to launch at the same time or first on Xbox. These are things that designed to put Xbox gamers first. Now it's like, hey, let's dedicate 20 minutes of our show to PC and have the crowd just go completely dead for those 20 minutes. This happens. Like E3 has turned into nothing but a Game Pass commercial for them, and I get it. But at the same time, next year when Sony's out there like throwing haymakers, it doesn't matter what Microsoft brings, right? Like that's why they needed to do something now, so they had that mind share and that hype going into next year, because now they could come out with Fable and new IP, and as soon as Sony shows another God of War or a new Spider-Man or a new IP or Horizon Zero Dawn, like that's going to those are Game of the Year freaking contenders.
Yep.
So as soon as they show those games, whatever Microsoft showed all of a sudden becomes irrelevant. It's like the rich kid at school.
I mean,
I got a moochism. Let me finish. Rich kid at school, right?
Yeah.
When he's talking about what he got for Christmas, it invalidates whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, hey, I got this. And I'm like, damn, I got a Walkman. You know what I mean? Like, so that to me is
Yeah, I love my Walkman. What are you
is what
talking
Microsoft.
about?
Well, yeah, I mean it's a Sony product, right? Come on, it's,
Oh,
Oh.
no, it's great.
dude, I feel like
Damn.
you set me up for that.
Yeah, I know.
crap.
But I mean, listen. Like, okay, Knox, go ahead. Tell me what you think, man.
What I was going to say, it's not fair to say that, right? Because let's say it's not going to happen, but let's say, right, for the sake of this discussion, next year Microsoft does launch some new IP, shows us something, and the shit is like looks amazing and captivates our interest, along with some new content and some nice double A's and shit. It could be, it could be something that people look forward to if they do it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if they come out and drop a couple of double A's, like, a Cuphead 2 is in the works, show some new IP.
Cuphead 2 is in line for 2030. Be there, guys.
And it's going to be multi-plat.
Yeah, hell, the DLC, they announced a DLC further out than any Xbox exclusive, right? Like 3 years out. Like that game's like it got delayed again. Like DLC. I think if they are making a sequel, it's not gonna would it take them like 8 years to do that one? Like I think we are far away from getting that game created. But I feel like Microsoft could if they decided to show something good, but it's like that those games are
probability
on Sony's side, right? Like even if something new, right? You just have that perception, like Bleeding Edge. It could be good. It's not my type of game, but it could be good. But there's just that perception, like, oh shit, here we go again, another Game Pass game,
Sure.
right? Like another 65.
Yeah.
That's
what
Dude,
I was
know
saying
a lot
about
of people
earlier.
who are
That's what I was
interested
saying
in
about
Bleeding
earlier.
Edge.
Dude, I get it, Xbox, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of how people get hyped about stuff, and Microsoft's not going to advertise this game, but
but that's a rare mindset that you just described.
I know a lot of people who are not excited about Xbox games because they're not, the last handful have not been very good. They're not like games that people are like, hey, I got to run out and get this game. Like I don't know anyway. Even casual people like my older brother switched to PlayStation after being an Xbox fan he's loving VR and Spider-Man. He's like, when is Xbox
Well,
coming
dude,
out?
to have you in his ear bitching about it every day, I would
I never talked to him about video games. Like me and him have played video games our entire lives, and he was an Xbox dude. But it wasn't like we were just having this conversation about it. And he's like, I picked up a PS4 the other day in VR, and it's amazing, And I was like, yeah, dude, I've been playing VR for years now. It's fantastic.
I dabble in VR. We got the Oculus, man.
Exactly. And he's like, yeah, Spider-Man. He's like, I thought, I was looking around on Xbox, and it's like everything that's on Xbox is on PlayStation 4, but there's all these other games on PlayStation 4, Spider-Man, God of War. And I was like, yeah, get the Uncharted game, get Until Dawn. I was like, I gave him a whole list of games. I was like, get all these games, they're great, and you can't play them on Xbox. I was like, there's not a whole lot that's on Xbox that's great this generation. Hardly anything. There was some stuff early on that was good, and you could have
already got that contract in his back pocket.
No, well, listen.
I came here with a pocket full of contracts, so just in case, I'm just
y'all want to.
Do you have one for Ouya?
I'm good.
Ouya is out of business, thankfully. Hey, look, we burned through 2 hours super fast here.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, we did. It's
oh,
fun, man.
It
was a good time. But let's do some outros. Mooch, what do you got going on?
Buddy, we got a great week here. We got Crossfire, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Mooch 78 YouTube. And then we've also got Twitch.tv, the Mooch 78. We're going to be doing Days Go On tomorrow night, so check it out.
Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.
We got Xbot. What do you got going on, dude?
Of course, I'm going to be on Crossfire on Mooch's channel this Friday.
Yes, sir.
I just want to give a huge shout out to the chat. Guys, I will run through the gauntlet. This is the no doom and gloom Xbox gamer right here. And with that being said, you got to tune in to my channel Saturday, 7 p.m. for the next podcast. And while you're there, just go ahead and subscribe. That's all you got to do.
Good plug.
We got Foxy. She joined us late. What do you got going on, Foxy?
Nothing much. I gotta get back into gaming. Been doing other stuff in life and things, but I miss gaming, and it was awesome being on
and
here.
That kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I did that. I met John DiMaggio, Marcus Phoenix. It was amazing.
Did you get him to say something like "my tomatoes" or something? You know.
No, but I was talking to him about the next game that's coming out and how I'm looking forward to it, and I like his work, and I even asked him about like how is it like working with the old cast compared to the new cast, and he said it's just as amazing, and he's just as comfortable with them acting than he was with the old cast as well. I was fangirling the whole time. It was awesome. He signed my Gears of War 3 copy, so I'm really happy about that.
Nice.
Yeah. So besides that though, I gotta get back into gaming, and yeah, it was just awesome being here chatting with you guys, hearing all the shit talking. It was great.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It was a damn good time though. It's a lot of fun. Very respectful, I think. So it was. We also got we got Predator. What's going on, Pred? What do you got going on this week?
Oh shit, it's my turn. I'm early.
Yeah.
I'm just recently getting over my post-traumatic E3 stress syndrome. So I'll be gaming tomorrow pretty much all day. Have nothing going on since I'm on vacation. So catch me, Predator, Space H2OS, pretty much everywhere, including MySpace. And next podcast, I will not be on this weekend, so I'm taking my.
So
my
vote
kids to come
Knox.
in town. Yeah, no, I think Knox won last week, didn't he?
Oh, okay.
I did.
I don't know. Probably
He's
not.
like, I did.
Probably not. I might have pumped it.
I don't know.
Right there,
That should be surprising.
I think it was Mega. It was Mega.
But no next podcast for me this weekend. I got family in town, and maybe even the weekend after that. So you guys might be missing for a couple weeks.
Oh,
But you guys will be okay.
all right, man. Appreciate it.
We'll get Jay to sub for you, man. It's all good.
We've got we've got Knox who toughed it out as well. What's going on, Knox? What do you got going on?
Oh man, I just ordered some new equipment, so my new camera stuff is on the way, so that I can, bring in Knox We Trust right here on YouTube into the, to the millennium with 4K and all that.
Nice.
Yep, I'll be right here on Wednesdays. You already know Xbox Nation with you guys, you fine folk, and I'll be bringing all the doom and the gloom to the next podcast on Saturday.
No doom and gloom, man.
Knox will bring it for you. Pony Miss One battle time. Yeah.
We appreciate it, and very special thanks to Jay Kratos. Knocked it out of the park today, man. You did really well. I appreciate you taking time out to do the show tonight, man. What do you got going on? Where can people find you?
Yeah, man, you guys can find me on Twitter at JDubCity16. Y'all can just find me where all the chaos is. And on Thursdays I'm on Multiplayer Podcast, and I got a new show coming up on Sundays. First episode is this Sunday. It's with Neethles, MM2K, and Next Gen 720. So check it out, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it. And with that, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good time gaming, and we'll catch you later. Peace out.
Bye.